I'm sorry everyone, it took this long for me to start the stream. But I had a piss break, and the green owl took me hostage. So, hello, welcome in. Good evening, hey Joey, welcome in. Now, so what's up guys, MJ here, and today I'm gonna be trying and finishing the Legend Gundam. Now this just came in today. I'm so glad that it actually finally came in the mail. And if you guys didn't hear what happened from the previous streams, is that my package that contains this, the VE40 from Armored Core, my Endymion unit, and the fin funnels, it got sent out on the 6th of February, and it got held up in China for about 10 days. I don't know what it's up with that. It's always the case when my FedEx package goes through Guangzhou that it always seems to get stuck there for quite a bit. I don't know why, but then finally they sent it out last week, and then it arrived at my doorstep, so that's good. Still waiting on my pre-ordered Legend Gundam. Well, okay, so are you trying to comfort me or something? I don't know. I'm just looking through. Discord. Wait, is my stream playback really that far behind? Welcome in. Hello, great model you have here. Hey, Tank Guy. Hey, Zarathus. I'm actually seeing some new faces here. Welcome in. Now, I know it's a Monday, and I'm doing the stream after somebody's uploaded their review, so I'm coming into this build while the iron is starting to cool, but no matter. We're here to just have a fun time. So, how are you guys doing? And I don't really have any like stories prepped for today because the most I've done for today is do this, prep for the Gundam Nyan. And I actually painted the gold and the orange, no, not gold and orange, the blue and the orange, and looks like some of it didn't stick. I'll troubleshoot that later. If anything, it just needs a brush on that section and it'll be fine. Yeah, it feels like bare plastic. But no matter. A little bit of a brush paint, then that'll be fine. I'll still have to paint. I'll put the other. I still have to put the kit together because the rest of it is still in bits. Yeah. Yeah, I should be able to put some masking tape on the side and then just. Yeah, just paint that section over. I don't need to take it apart again. That would be a pain in the ass. But yeah, the rest of it is still in bits because this is a multi-finish kit. And then I will be able to deliver the video tomorrow. So thankfully, hopefully I can get that out of the way so that I can get to reviewing this guy, the Legend Gundam. But yeah, all is well for today. And there's nothing really special that happened recently. Mostly because I talked about everything in the past. But yeah, hello there, Revan. Hello, Orby. Welcome in. I have therapy soon, but so happy to see you streaming. I hope you have a good session then. Okay, so actually, let's get right into the build because I have no time to dilly-dally. Given that I have to go to the garage later on to patch up that one bit of paint. But yeah, let's get to building. It took about 9 minutes for me to start building, so I'm gonna keep tabs on that. It takes time for pre-orders to get to Germany, and the first stuff we get since to Hamburg and into the warehouse in Berlin. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully, at least it stops by in the country where you're based in, instead of being held up in some place for some odd reason. Have you ever owned the high grade Cosmic Era P band? I've been itching to get the Strike Freedom Type 2 Destiny Spec 2 final version, or to have the mighty Strike in thoughts. It's basically the idea of getting duplicates. And if you aren't against the idea of having duplicates, then sure. You might as well go ahead and pick those up. And I think I may be picking up the Strike Freedom Type 2 for like a short or something, because I am indeed interested in what it has to offer for new stuff it has to offer. But if anything, it just depends on what you want. Sure, there's nothing wrong with getting duplicates, but it just highly depends on your budget. And I'm already failing at the first step. Oh god. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't think I mentioned this yesterday because we were focused on gameplay. But yesterday, I went to a con in Hammersmith. If you guys don't know where that is, it's in London. And to be fair, it's not necessarily that big of a con, because it was held in a hotel. It's called Anime Con. Unfortunately, there's barely anything mecha in there, because all it is basically just a place for, I don't know, prints and props and just generic anime stuff. More so, like there are some there's definitely some mainstream stuff there, but it's more so just being generic anime. So like generic mainstream anime. So you can imagine My Hero Academia and that good old stuff, and also seeing some amazing digital circus cosplays there for some reason. But sadly, there wasn't really anything mecha that's in there. So after I had my tour of the place, I ended up going to the Gundam-based pop-up in London, which is about an hour away from Hammersmith. And it wasn't that bustling there either. What the hell am I cutting? Is that a flag, or is that... That is a flag, yeah. I ended up going to the Gundam-based pop-up in London because it was about... I was in London, so I figured might as well. And especially because it's going away in March, so I figured I might as well take a look at what it has to offer. And granted, they took away the tables where they would have held the Gundam trading card game sessions, but they've also had a couple of new things. Like, of course, the Figure Ice stuff, the Haros, the Gundam base exclusives, they're all there. And they also have the Twilight Coating MGEX Strike Freedom. I forgot how much they sold for, but I don't really remember. But they also set up a dedicated display for the Perfect Grade Unleashed Nu Gundam. And granted, it was nice to see it for the first time, but still, it was the prototype, so it wasn't the final kit. And apparently they told me that... Okay, this goes in from the front. Apparently they told me that they've changed some stuff along the way, along the production of the Nu Gundam, because the prototype they sent has a different finish, and apparently the shopkeepers were told that the LEDs were included, which of course we now know isn't the case. The Perfect Grade Nu costs the Perfect Grade Unleashed Nu itself costs 66,000 yen, including tax. And then the light unit is, of course, costs about 15,400 yen with tax. So they were sold separately, and I don't know how outdated that information is, but it's damn outdated if that's the case. And then apparently that prototype that was displayed there also didn't have, you know, the clear piece that holds the funnels up when it's on the display base. It doesn't have that as well. so you can really visibly see the Nu Gundam leaning towards one side. I was about to butt in and say that it's natural, it's just the laws of physics going on, and nah, I just want to avoid that debate, because I would know that would spark some people up, saying that it's normal to have that remedy, given how the funnels themselves, all 6 funnels together, are like 400 grams. So you can imagine how bad that's gonna be in terms of weight balance. But it's just interesting to know that there was so much that got changed during the production of the Perfect Grade Unleashed Nu compared to the final product. Of course, seeing it in all its glory, yeah, that's nice as well, but seeing it tilt to one side as it is, it's a little bit distracting if you ask me. So that's why I wasn't able to appreciate it in all of its glamour. Did you buy the Perfect Grade Unleashed? No. Hello Channel 2S, welcome in. I'm a little bit held up at the moment. I think I'm gonna put the armor piece on before I put the camera, because you have this massive section of camera, so I really don't know where it would end up popping out. Apparently they also say that it has a seat action system. I haven't read anything that's on the box, by the way. Also gonna visit the Gundam pop-up in Germany and hopefully get a RGP Bandai Spec 2 Destiny Impulse. You eat your heart out, Joey. They Gundam Base rarely, if ever, sells P Bandai kits. Not unless they were made clear for the P Bandai, no, not P Bandai, not unless the P Bandai kit itself was made into a clear release to be released in the Gundam Base. And as far as I know, they haven't made a clear version of the Blast Impulse or the Destiny Impulse real grades, so you can just eat your heart out. But maybe I'll have something on offer in one of the future videos you may put to good use. Hey Retrograde, welcome in. Been working on this episode for my school video broadcast journalism in class. About a minute 30, and it's about gunpla. I bought my Master Grade Zaku Warrior to school and got some footage. Should have been brought, but I'm so glad. Like you're doing a project on one of your passions. That's very nice. Hopefully you get a good result from that. Got interviews done, introduced 2 new friends of mine to Gunpla through the entry grade RX-78-2 for weapon sets. I'm really looking forward to coming together. Yeah, doing a passion project in school. Okay, so now I know it's gonna be that bottom section. So if that sticker hasn't flown away, I'll just put that on before I get back to you guys. But yeah, it was a fruitful trip to the Gundam base, and they also have the trading card games starter decks. From set 3 to set 6. So that's basically Iron-Blooded Orphans, G-Clux, 00, and Hathaway. All 4 of them are there. There are also booster packs and those typical trading card packs as well. So I didn't buy any of those because they were 4 quid a pop, but in the end I bought the Iron-Blooded Orphans and the 00 sets. So maybe if you guys are interested, before I go back to work, I'll put up a stream just to hang out with you guys and unbox those things. Because I also have the seed one as well, and I haven't took that out. The only cards that I've ever used are the ones they provide in that demo starter deck. So, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you guys all over the world with those Gundam-based pop-ups? Do they hold an introductory event to the Gundam card game? Because if they do, they might have handed out those freebie starter decks that you cannot use in regular tournaments. And those cards, even though they have some sort of effects and whatnot, they're pretty crap in and of itself. So it probably won't be it will just be something to just use as cannon fodder, if I'm honest. Damn gravity, new type problems, yeah. Is that the revived Legend Gundam? Yes, Ashlight, it is the revived Legend Gundam. Now see, really like the tail forehead sensors for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's not like it's gonna be looking into anything based on the way I put it. Oh, I put it upside down. That's why. Right. Ugh. Already running into mistakes. I'm a little bit dazzled today, guys. But I'm very glad that the weather today was actually tolerable. So the weather over here has climbed up to consistently be in the double digits. So I was able to do some spray painting without the need of a hairdryer. So what I did during those like single digit temperatures was that I brought a hairdryer into the garage with me so that I can warm up the drying area so that the paint doesn't frost. It only works like half the time, but it works. So luckily I don't need to go through that bother again. Not until the next winter, because the weather is gonna be in like the high single digits to the low tens, and now note to self, 10 degrees Celsius is enough for the paint to not frost. Right, so it's telling me to cut this carefully. And I don't want to muck this up. One sec. Because I would really need to get up close and personal with this piece in order to not mess it up. And I also been reminding myself to not be hasty with a lot of the things I do recently. Just so I don't make any mistakes that I will heavily regret. And I think what's left for this piece is a little bit of sanding. Hey, I say I'm an anti-example of how to build gunpla. It's not that I don't know how to build, unless I already mucked it up already. So at the GB store, so the mostly clear kits are what I could expect. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, who in their right mind would buy clear kits unless it's their last option? I mean, the only clear kit that I've ever owned is the second V, and I've made that opaque, just because that's like the easiest example, like the easiest way to obtain a second victory. Any chance of a new Exia Dark Matter review? No, because I'm gonna be doing the Amazing Exia instead. And essentially, the Amazing Exia just comes with everything the Dark Matter has, except the elf shoes and what else? The elf shoes and the mask. That's what it doesn't come with. So I'm going to be doing an all-encompassing review on the mold using the Amazing Exia. And if I could somehow get the camphor parts to work on it, I would be able to make all 3 variants of the Amazing Exia. This kit is proving quite challenging if you really want to get into the detail. No pop-up event here. Oh, I'm sad. Yes, I reviewed both the Dark Matter and Amazing Exia in the past, but since I wanted to do a re-review of the stuff that I did, I have to pick and choose. And since the Amazing Exia and the Exia Dark Matter are essentially the same kit, I went with that instead. Since the Amazing Exia has more variants. How many new weapons expansion you would recommend to buy? Just one. One if you're trying to conserve, 2 if you want to do the double fin funnel type. Or you can just use the 1 and do that one where it has 3 funnels on each side with one set upside down. It actually teaches you how to do that in the manual, and I'm very surprised by it. And they don't even reference that that's the twin fin funnel type that they did for the real grade. Excuse me. Is that they only said that, oh, you can do this. And there's like a lot of miscellaneous stuff that you can do with the new fin funnels. Damn, that's really the Revived Legend Gundam. I'm jealous. I'm busy with myself some kit bash between real grade God and real grade shine to make myself unknown to even myself. Hey, science is going too far, mate. There's a Legend backpack suit with Gelgook Menace. I don't know, but in any case, if you wanted to attach it to the Gelgook Menace, you'll need an adapter. Okay, so let me put the antennas on before I get back to you guys. Because I feared that would happen. Luckily, I kept track of it. Typical Gundam seed with their tiny, tiny parts for the head. Oh, it actually fits without needing to be fully assembled. Because that's the thing with like the Cosmic Era Strike Freedom, is that you have to assemble them onto the head for them to be even solid. So I'm glad that the Legend actually has like some sort of remedial thing. There you go. There is the head of the Legend Gundam. And by the way, you know what's actually weird about this kit? Because I was very dubious about the color accuracy on this thing. And turns out, yes, my suspicions were right. Mostly, because, like, I'm gonna mention this in the review and show you some examples if you guys don't understand. So, the colors of this thing, of this particular kit, are a little bit too purple. I'm talking about the main gray specifically, because the other colors are bang on. So, the main gray is a little bit too purple across all depictions you can find. However, if you have the privilege to be able to dig out the original Gundam Seed Destiny footage, and I mean no, not HD remaster, those colors skew more towards a purple. Like, I can demonstrate some dropper tool footage if absolutely necessary, because I find that fascinating. I don't know if it's because of the crappy footage or the color grading or something, but if it's any excuse for me not to paint this guy, I'm gonna take it. Because there is no way I'm gonna repaint all of the main body into the gray. Into the proper HD remaster gray. But I know a way to do that. And then that is to tone down the purple. I'm gonna show you guys the color guide in the review, and it has like only 3 colors in its mix, so thank God it's gonna be simple. But you just tone down the ratio of purple, and then you'll get that mix. It's very simple. Because the gray on the HD remaster and all subsequent depictions is more like toned towards a bluish gray instead of a purplish gray. Funnily enough, that's not the case for the original footage. You won't be able to see it on a glance, but if you have a dropper tool at your disposal, you'll understand what I mean. Which is fascinating to me. So I can treat this as an homage and be lazy for once. Because as we go deeper into the build, you guys will see how insane the color separation on this kit is. I'm gonna look for that. Okay, C17. Yo, as much as I know the new is a favorite design, I'm probably in the minority of disliking it. Why, JX Demon? So the G-base store. Okay, exit Dark Matter. No pop-up event here. Providence versus Legend. I prefer the Legend. Hey Akmaneth. Hey Addy Cox. Hey Miha. Welcome in. Welcome in. Built the Amazing X. Did you get rid of the safety things on the V-fins? Yes, I did. May not be the best effect because I hardly ever like sand them, but I did. The head mask. I like clear color kits. You can also get color variants and or parts of the kits at the G base. Personally, I prefer canon adjacent stuff, so I'm very picky with what I buy. Because if I can own that, if I can own a particular kit, I might as well own the proper version of it. You know what I mean? I'm more like a purist, but I'm not necessarily like such a purist that I don't acknowledge the value of some kits. Rather, I would just say I don't understand the appeal and move on. So for like clear kits, I really don't understand the appeal of them. Not unless they're like, well, for the build divers versions, they're like, well, dive into dimension clear, so they actually have sparkles in them. Same thing would go for the Plavsky particle special versions on the build fighters kits. Okay, so what am I supposed to do here? So I'm supposed to slot this down here. That's such a weird way to construct that detail. I know they're trying to put in the seed action system, but that's such a weird way to approach this. Got there in the end. We got there in the end. I wonder who designed the real grade God and Shining and then make the head, body, and backpack not interchangeable except as one. Well, I mean, real grades were never meant to be part swapped either way. CMJ, going to sleep. Nice stream. Hey, have a nice sleep. Good night, Zartheus. It's the original color scheme. Yeah, red part flew off like a bullet. Hey, Warark, welcome in. Honestly, want to get the Seed Legend 1 days after Destiny revives to repair well. Do you know how long it took them? 7 years. The original, not the original, the revived Destiny came out in 2019. I remember it vividly just because that kit was one of the ones that came out nearest to my Japan trip back in 2019. And then the High Western, no, it came out in May of 2019, and then the High Western Plus version came out in July of 2019. It took them so long to get the quartet together. And considering that the original, not the original, I keep saying original, considering that the revived Strike Freedom came out in like 2014, that's a long time. It took them 12 years before we were able to put everything together. Naturally, the Legend Gundam was really kind of like the black sheep of the group, because whenever they have like tie-in medias, the Legend Gundam was rarely ever there. 26 and 20. Okay, down there. I don't even have the real good Strike Freedom, but I can't do any nice poses without the base adapter, which is the worst adapter I've ever had. I had the real great Strike Freedom. I just don't have any like vivid memories of it. All I remember is that clipping the armor parts onto the wing frame was an absolute nightmare. MJ, chicken nuggets are chicken tenders? What do you mean? Hey, Lysergic, welcome in. Welcome in. I guess people want clear colors because it's different to the norm. Do you like Massacre mechanical clear since you don't normally get to see the inner frame? I don't like them per se, but those I can understand them. And oh, no, wait a minute. Okay, 25 and 26. 27 is for the backpack. Well, the backpack connection. I got myself a little bit flustered there. But I'm waiting for Mars because I ordered Shenlong and Death Scythe. Which ones? Are you talking about the high grade after colony kits? I'm kind of glad I got into Gunpla near the end of 2024 because I kind of got to experience lots of kits of various years since. Heck, the real grade God was my last build and first real grade. That's nice. And I don't know how long you guys have been here because I've been in this hobby for about, when was 2012? I keep harping on about no, wait a minute. 2024 to 2012. So that, yeah, 13 years. My math. I'm Asian, but I cannot do math. So you guys can just kill that stereotype. So I keep harping on about me being in this hobby for about 12 years. So like, when did you guys start? Because I know G-Witch actually brought in a lot of new people into the hobby. And in fact, into my channel. So if you guys were introduced to me throughout the G-Witch boom, then welcome in. I know I'm saying this like 4 years too late. Can you even believe it that G-Witch is almost 4 years old? Like, sooner or later, we were still going on about like G-Witch being in media at the moment, because it was most recently introduced into Super Robot Wars Y, and they still have a ton of content coming out, as if not necessarily a ton, but there's still like relevant content coming out, like that actually slice of life spin-off. And I guess Vanitas Heart is still going as well. I haven't really seen many chapters following the Nion's initial introduction. It hasn't even fought in the anime, in the manga yet. And I've only seen like Kiyu Lavitz get into like a duel of sorts. I haven't really read that chapter in detail to get the full context. Have I done something wrong with this? Oh, by the way, I've moved the whole playback up a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm actually doing in my natural position. Wait, I mean nuggets or tenders, autocorrect is fighting me. I don't recall having chicken. I'm gonna go with chicken nuggets, simply because they're the easiest to eat. Okay. I see the problem. So I was supposed to yeah, I did it wrong initially. That was 100% my bad. Hey, Aishi, half a year, dude. Ah, Miha, you're a relatively new fan. Except I'm doing a big custom. Well, if you like really try to do a custom of real grades, you can, if you have the skills for it. But they were not made to be customizable. It's only Bandai's laziness and maybe sheer coincidence that the Shining and the God uses the same frame. But like I was saying, like, can you even imagine that it's 4 years since G-Witch, like almost 4 years since G-Witch started? Like, next year we're gonna have to celebrate its 5th year anniversary in 2027. Like, and given how popular G-Witch was, for better or for worse, Bandai would definitely like jump on the train to celebrate its anniversary. Like, I don't think they would abandon it like Gundam X until something like 30 years after its release. Time flies, man. Time flies. And G-Witch, I really have to give G-Witch credit for like producing like good kits. Like, some of the kits were actually revolutionary. Like, of course now in hindsight they have a lot of flaws, and granted, I'm gonna give you guys a teaser. The Gundam Nion, it was impressive until you get to that one flaw. If you guys know, you guys know. But G-Witch was also special to the channel just because it like brought in a lot of new people into my channel and subsequently pushed me past 10,000. So if you guys have been around since then, thank you so much. And especially because we're pushing towards 20,000 subscribers. It took about I hit 10,000 in 2023. So it took about 3 years, 2.5 years for me to gain another 10,000, which is astonishing. Even though it was not, well, I'm gonna say it bluntly. Even though it was a little bit slow compared to what I imagined, compared to what everybody imagined, because even Jury was a bit surprised that my channel isn't growing as quickly as a channel of my size would be growing. And of course, I did introduce my new face while I was pushing towards 19,000 subscribers, which, I don't know, kind of jeopardized something for me. But either way, now that I'm settled into this role, I'm kind of having fun with it. And I guess that's like the most important thing with content creation, is to have fun. And I'm glad you guys that stuck around welcomed the new face as well. I swear that was only last year. I are gone to the hobby right around Build Fighters proper. Ah, so did I actually. That's why I'm gonna be doing like a Build Fighters kit marathon coming up. Jesus, time, slow down. 4 years per Chainsaw Man. I remember when you used to use what looks like bed sheets for your white background. That was actually a very cheap photo booth. I remember my dad calling it a softbox, but that was when I had those crappy yellow light bulbs. And I've messed this up, haven't I? Okay, so what I'm supposed to do is to do this and this, and this goes in this side. That should be right. Sorry, I'm a little bit focused at the moment. But yeah, my dad called that a softbox, and I remember those times where I had absolutely crappy lighting, and when the Real Great Unicorn Gundam pushed me past 1,000 subscribers. Like, that was an insane time. I'm in a hobby 3 years now. My first kit was the aerial rebuild. Slow down time. Your first kit was the aerial rebuild 3 years ago. Mate. Can we just write a letter of complaint to the to the time manager? But anyways, I'm in a hobby 3 years now. My first kit was the aerial rebuild I bought at a store. My favorite kits right now are the real grade and high grade Double Quanta, high grade Gundam Double X, real grade Shining Gundam, real grade Moon Gundam. Those are not bad choices actually. And in fact, I want to redo my video on the Gundam Double X, seeing as it would be quite topical to do so. In fact, I think alongside the Build Fighters Marathon, I am gonna also do like some Gundam X videos. And if I can get like what I have at the moment, so, like I have a couple of like arrangements that I'm talking through with a bunch of companies. If I can get those settled down and have some more time to focus on my own stuff, I'll definitely be doing some more Gundam X and Gundam X adjacent content, whatever there is to offer anyway. Have I done something wrong again? I think I might have. Yes, we need Massacre from G-Witch. Maybe for the 5th anniversary they'll do it. Alright, I got that side out. So I had those arm joints upside down, my bad. The Lefrith War is the reason I started watching you. Oh, that's nice, Addy Cox. And then I just ran into you in Jury's streams. Give me Master Grade SC Far Act, it will look so goofy. Yeah, well, I mean, there in fact is an SD interpretation of the Far Act. So maybe derive it from that. Yeah, I got that done, and look at this. This is insane. That's the thruster room right there. I don't know if the proper thruster detail is supposed to be that sunken, but I'll roll with it for now. B127. That sounds like I'm calling out that sounds like I'm calling out a code name, but I can't put my finger on what. Oh god, I started this hobby 6 years ago. What you mean you're artist? Well, I'm still not fond of G, which explaining more of the tech explanations rounded as hard. I do like what the series offered kit-wise. Kit-wise, especially with the 4 high grades I have for the series. Indeed, G, which has like some of the best high grades to enter the franchise. I love Master Grade Farak or Darabalde, but I did like the full mechanics aerial. I won't have some more full mechanics which from Mercury. They haven't even done the aerial rebuild in full mechanics, and I don't know why. I mean, Bandai being Bandai, they obviously have their own they have their method to their madness, but it's still a little bit weird given how popular G Witch is. Of the 40 build I've done, High Grade Red Free Flight Unit, Short Z, Blue Destiny Unit 1, Command Quanta, and God. I mean, not bad kits if I'm honest. All of them are quite good kits. Scared that I might switch my attention to a new hobby again. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you feel like you're done with gunpla, then just let that gut feeling guide you. I mean, hobbies, they never should be things that tether you to a specific thing. What I'm trying to say is, hobbies should not feel like they're tethering themselves to you. You should be able to enjoy them as you please. So if you feel like you're not enjoying building gunpla anymore because of either the lack of variety, the monotony, the frankly anti-consumer practices that Bandai are practicing, then you're well within your right to leave. I'm at 83 build kits. So that means you have these entire build series then. Is the legend gonna be the wizard pack user? No, the wizard packs are the backpacks for the Zaku warriors and the Zaku phantoms. Look at this insane color separation. Just look at this. I mean, the first time I saw this, I literally hopped out of my seat. Just because I was expecting, oh yeah, there's another Gundam Seed kit, I will have to paint in the thruster rims again. We're doing the song and dance again, oh god, after I'm done with Seed Freedom already. And it's like, oh my god, thruster rims are color separated? Where has this engineering been? Like, since if they're capable of doing that, where was that technology at in Seed Freedom? YouTube can be a lottery sometimes when it comes to getting discovered, but as long as you enjoy what you do, you preserve and grow a bigger community. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, and especially with this new face of mine. Oh, wait a second. I'm trying to mute. Yeah, I muted the desktop audio. Glory to the Zoward, yeah. 83 build kits. Is this a transformer or a mecha? Hey, Jiri. You should know better. I know you're a newbie to the hobby and all, but hey, you should know better. This is the Legend Gundam. Not unless you're taking the Mickey out of the BBC from the Tokyo Olympics, then I'll let you off that one. That was actually gonna be pretty funny if you meant it ironically. It takes about 3 weeks for a gunpla package when ordered to ship to Russia. Wait, to Russia? Is it because of the real life things that are going around? Looks like transformed to me. Hey, lethargic! Lethargic! Okay. But is it because of the real life shit that's going around in Russia that it takes that long? Because geographically, it wouldn't make sense. It takes me like a week to get my stuff from Japan. Bandai presents various sections of engineers with different grades. I do believe that some teams put more effort in their high grades than other teams. Lol. Yeah. Miha, my name is Optimus Prime. I don't have Peter Cullen's I don't really have Peter Cullen's voice or that type of pizzazz. I mean, I can do a pretty good Amuro really well, but I cannot do a good Optimus Prime impression. Even if it's like the Cybertron trilogy, I cannot do that. But here it is, the actually close this. Clearly it's a transformer that transforms into a big donut. You're getting the wrong kit, Warhawk! But here it is. This is the torso and the head. So it looks as though, yeah, we have the double peg connection, which is very nice. But we also have two other slots over here to solidify the connection between that big turtle shell and the back. So in any case, I think this is going to be a pretty solid kit. Peter Cullen does have a very distinct voice. I doubt it's easy to do an impression of his Optimus voice. I mean, Chris Hemsworth did his best efforts, but it's no Peter Cullen, I can tell you that for sure. Okay, we can do the arms now, and it's gonna be CMB at the moment. I've got 4 aerials, including the rebuild. To be fair, I actually have, 4 aerials. I have the normal, the Permascore 6, the rebuild, and the full mechanics. I say I don't like G-Witch, but secretly I do. Is that the connotation that I'm going for? I criticize G-Witch a lot, but I like the kids. Shut up. Okay, B117, 116. My name is MJ Prime as build stuff and roll out. Honestly, can't really blame people for mistaking Transformers for Gundams nowadays, especially with G-Quacks. I mean, the BBC mistook the Unicorn Gundam for a Transformer, and like that's the one thing that the general UK population gets wrong every single time. Like, if you have no idea what anime is, which honestly, there's more people that don't in the UK that I would like to admit, then you'll immediately think that this thing is a Transformer. Like, the last time I've been to the Birmingham Comic-Con, some kid actually came up to me because I was holding one of the kits that I built. I was holding up the Gundam Arcosius walking around in the con, hoping someone would recognize that that's a Gundam. And then some random kid just walked up to me with interest and say that, Mummy, is that a Transformer? And I was literally, oh my god. And I was literally sneering inside. Like, this is not a Transformer. And thankfully, they were receptive to me talking about that. Granted, it's just a kid that's interested in robots, like cool robots. But I told them, no, it's a Gundam, and then they moved on with their lives. Frankly, that was one of the only substantial conversations I've had at that con. But honestly, as much as Gundam is growing in the UK, I still feel like it's relatively unknown to the people. But like I've said in one of the previous streams, like the city I used to study my masters in, they have their big Forbidden Planet store, and they have a big Gundam inside there. So I'm glad the influence is spreading, but it's still a little bit more unknown than I was expecting, especially with all the things that Bandai is trying to do and push Gundam into basically European markets, if I'm honest. Is the UK still geographically part of Europe? I know they backed out of the European Union with Brexit, but can we still call the UK part of Europe? That always confuses me. It's the whole argument behind what does and doesn't look like a Gundam that pisses me off. Yeah, retrograde. Yeah, I getcha. Because Gundam was so influential like any single time that you get like 2 hexagonal eyes and a goatee, you immediately think of Gundam. Especially us who are like balls deep into the hobby. Hey One Sky, welcome in. Hey Blizzard dude. Welcome in. The build so far is pretty smooth. Because this has the seed action system, I ran into a couple of hiccups. Let's be frank. I ran into a couple of hiccups because of my own stupidity. But the build so far is pretty smooth so far. And we're moving into the arms in like an hour of the stream. I started building at like 9 minutes, so sorry about that. Nah, UK's technically off the European continent, so they're technically their own. I see. So are we rewriting history books to say that there are 8 continents now? In general, it depends on the location in Russia. I'm in the west part, which is quite far from Japan and China, but I know someone who literally lives on Sakhalin. Where is Sakhalin? It's like in the east of Russia? Okay, B14 and 13. Okay. I really should separate those 2 stacks of runners. I feel that with Transformers, my brother came into my room. Where's my nippers? Was asking, are these Transformers? And I explained that they are not even. They are not, even though some Transformers are piloted. I only know that one Transformer that was piloted from Cybertron. I don't know about others, and I can fully bet that there are some Transformers in the franchise that are piloted by someone. I don't really know the Transformers mythos that well, so yeah, my knowledge on the franchise really just extends to Transformers 1, Transformers Cybertron, Transformers Prime, and the Bayverse movies. That's all I know. But it's still, like any modern Transformers project, I don't care how good or bad they are. Some of the Transformers sequences are just ADHD dopamine spikes, like whenever you watch them. Like me as a kid, I used to like watching the... I don't know if I told you guys this before, but I used to like watching those Transformers Cybertron transformation sequences, like on loop. Just because it just satisfies me to see robots working. I don't know. There's just a sort of weird satisfaction I get from watching those animations. I don't know if you guys are the same. I'm looking forward to getting this kit soon. Got Massacre Lupus coming on Wednesday. Hey, enjoy that! Seriously, enjoy it. Maybe reveal Shield D Liger in the future, MJ? What is that? Should I give this face armor eyelashes? Which one do you mean? Prime, before Gunpla, I collected Transformers. Ah. That's nice. Whew. Well, back to the Legend Gundam now. Got a little bit distracted. I chalk it up to the West not being too interested in mecha in general, unless it's all dumb action like Bayformers. Well, I mean, does the Transformer being Gundam argument happen in America? Because I know the American market is far larger than any other English-speaking market when it comes to Gundam. So, in all honesty, I would find it surprising that some Americans would still think that Gundams are Transformers. Because, like, everything is bigger in America. I'm not just talking about the people, but everything in terms of the fandom and the market reach is bigger in America. So, I would still be surprised if the Americans think Gundam is, like, somehow related to Transformers. Okay, so I need B23 and 12 with the thruster, and then that's the shoulders done. Actually, it's pretty, like, it's simple, but it's pretty involved. Like, I don't know how to say this, but yes, it uses the seed action system, but implementing it into a Destiny design. Well, granted, yeah, the Infinite Justice and the Mighty Strike Freedom, they technically count as Destiny designs, honestly. But to have it, like, so far ahead compared to all the others. Like, not even the Destiny is this involved. Shield D-Liger's Transformers combined with Zord and Disc Clone. I don't think so. I don't think I'd be interested in that, to be honest. Like, if I were to review Transformers on this channel, first of all, there won't be any market interest because I already devoted myself to Gundam. And second of all, doing figure reviews is technically not really my thing. Like, I know there are some Robotology figures that I really want to review, like the Extreme Gundam is in my backlog. And I really should get that knocked out considering I had to do nothing to the kit. Well, to the figure. I had to do nothing to it. And I've also reviewed a couple of Robotologies in the past. Especially the metal ones. But I'm not sure, actually. Depends on what franchise I review. Because typically, if I review something that's not Gundam that you guys also know, those would tend to generate a lot of views as well. Like when I did the Armored Core stuff. In fact, there are still some people asking me when I would continue my Armored Core reviews. And trust me, they're coming in. I would be aiming to do the VE40A whenever I finish off the backlog, the 2025 backlog. And because they're like stock variants, I can easily just knock them out. Because like for the stock kits, I would prefer to not have to touch them up at all. Just to keep them as a blank slate in case I have any ideas. Right. I'm painting a 30-minute fantasy kit and I'm pondering it. There's one from Transformers Prime, I don't know the name of that one. It's a Decepticon who got killed and piloted by a person. Oh, Breakdown. Yeah, Breakdown. He was like... I forgot the context, but... I think he got badly damaged and killed, but then... Silas got killed. And then he was put into Breakdown as sort of like a massive Darth Vader suit. Or something like that. Do you guys remember LBX, the Bandai series in the same genre as Build-Divers? Yes, I do. I remember LBX, and they were all the rage while I was growing up. We had so many different phases that I completely forgotten about. That it's just that we just so happen to be bringing that back up. Like, what is it? Well, during my kindergarten years, nothing really stuck out. But during my primary school years, which is, I don't know, like what, grade 1 to grade 6 for you guys? I don't know. Different school systems work differently. So, just trust that I was 6 to 11 years old then. In primary school, I think the craze went from Beyblades to Inazuma 11 to Bakugan, and then some Battle Spirits got slotted in the middle. And then in secondary school, because we've all grown out of... mostly because our schedules don't really match up with the television show that showed the animes, so we didn't really talk much about that. But there were just so many childhood fads that we just so happened to be bringing up, and LBX was one of them. It was like LBX and then Beyblade. I think those two coexisted back in my time, like in the in school conversations. And in fact, they were such a fad that I don't know, I just constantly hear about it. It's just a bit weird that it just completely died off, and I don't remember whether or not I definitely didn't ask for an LBX, but I've heard people talk about them, and literally I think I was in like a toy store like once or twice, and I saw them all over the place. They were like the first like customizable things, and I definitely have seen like advertisements of LBX on TV. They were kind of like these toy robots that you actually fight with. And then that idea got transplanted into Build Fighters. Yeah, hi, don't forget SMP Baltea 2 for Armored Core review. I'm not reviewing that. There are Transformers model kits that are similar to Master Grades. Ah, I see. Review Snail Shell kit? What do you mean? it's okay. The people here are pretty big too, though. But back then, the Transformers comparison would always happen. But now with Transformers being more dormant and anime being a big explosion, it doesn't happen. That's probably why I'm more surprised about it. HG Super. I'm so. I don't know whether I'm British or American anymore. Okay. HG Super Gundam or HG Origin Zaku 2 was planning on doing a more detailed build, but I'm scared of top coating since I live in a humid climate. Huh. Let's see, because the Super Gundam uses the base Mark II, so it's the non-revived version. Do you like that? Like, if you don't mind that old kit, then go for the Super Gundam, because the Origin Zaku is a little bit more involved than your typical Zaku. But honestly, if you do mind the age of the old Mark II, then I would just ask you to just go for the Zaku. And by the way, if Jury, you're still here, you can offer your recent insights into the Origin Zaku mold. Because I need to buy another one. Mostly because I want to turn my current one into the Ballistic Zaku, which would revolve around a more cartoonish anime approach into the final build. Whereas, for me, I was conflicted between whether or not I should keep the current one I have into the Red Comet version, or should I just buy another one? But now, since it was so long since I built the base body for the Ballistic Zaku, I might as well just get another one. Since they were relatively easy to get when I went on my way to buy one in the past, so that I can have one Red Comet Zaku and one Ballistic Zaku. Bakugan be the GOAT. Yeah. Bakugan Mectanium Surge, that was all the craze back then. I don't really have any like vivid memories of anything that came before or after Mectanium Surge, but the only reason that Mectanium Surge was that ingrained in my mind was because of the Mectagons. If you don't know what those are basically giant mechs that can be summoned with the power of the Bakugan and the Brawler. So they're like giant mechs, and then further up from that, the three of them can summon even bigger mechs called the Metagon Titans. And oh my god, if I have to go into like Bakugan Mectanium Surge, I will have to do like, I don't know, a long rant about, not necessarily a rant, but a long geek out about what I like, because the Mectagons, the other Mectagons in the series, they're all fine. They're fair enough mechanical designs. I can respect them, and of course I love those exploding panels that they activate to reveal more beam cannons and whatnot. But the one that really stuck with me, and I don't know if that's because of nostalgia, I really loved Zenthon and Zenthon Titan. I don't know why. I couldn't pinpoint why I liked them so much compared to the other Mectagons. Maybe because it was the first, maybe because it was the most characterful of all the Mectagons. But oh my god, I just love the design of Zenthon. I love that it can like have expanding shoulders and like that's wings and basically just beam cannons everywhere. I'm not one for beam spam, but when it comes to stuff like Bakugan, where you're not really meant to take it seriously, then go ahead, bring on the insanity. I know these days Beyblade has come back with the X line, which is marketed to an older teen audience. I really wish, because I tried looking for the original 3 seasons of Beyblade because those were what I saw on TV, and in fact I also have Very Aries in my collection. It's in the other room somewhere, but I have Very Aries. Of course, because I was a brash child, the launcher is actually missing, and I don't have because Very Aries comes with 2 keys because it does both right spinning and left spinning. I don't really remember what the terms are, but it does both. It spins in both directions, and thus it comes with a special launcher that allows you to put the key in, like in a specific slot for it to be launched in a certain direction. And of course it does come with 2 like launcher pieces that you can need to swap out in order to launch it in be it right side or left side. I lost them all. And I really wish I didn't right now. But I was a child. What could you say? We all make mistakes as a child and regret it later on, especially when it comes to like geeky stuff. Over here, instead of Beyblade, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my god, of course it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! And Battle Spirits, which one is gonna be the better one? Of course it's gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's so popular. Like, I've never heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Until I went on my trip on my trip to Japan with my friend, who was apparently looking for a banned Yu-Gi-Oh! Card while we were in Akihabara. This is a big high grade. It's mostly big because of the backpack. Bakugan was awesome. Yeah, definitely. Why is someone deleting my comments? I'm not touching them. Like, my hands are here. Maybe it was just the YouTube bots that are doing it. Ah, I grew up with the Metal Saga generation. I grew up with the Plastic Gen. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, yeah, Beyblades. I grew up with the Metal Saga, and they were literally the talk of the town back then. And I can basically remember when everybody was doing the Cantonese version of Beyblade Let It Rip. And then, you know, the funny thing is, it was because of Beyblade that people are making, like, spinning tops out of, like, rubber erasers and staples. It was a dangerous act, but they were literally using that as an analog for Beyblades in school because we, of course, evidently, it was school. We were not allowed to bring any toys in. So, what they do, let me actually move the mic a little bit. Hello? Hello? I want to record a message for you just to get you settled down on your first night. But yeah, in the past, because we were not allowed to bring toys to school, my classmates would make tops out of staples and rubber, like rubber erasers, and they would just spin those constantly. And all I would hear during recess, if I was staying in the classroom, all I would hear is, well, basically, what we say is a 3, 2, 1, go shoot. That's basically the Cantonese version of Let It Rip. And, it was so annoying. Like, I basically get told off for even pretending that my pencils are train pistons. And yet, those guys who would, make their own tops can get away scot-free. It's so unfair. But thinking back, they had their fun. It's no harm, no foul. Then screw it. I recall following Bakugan up to what I knew was like the new Vestroya or something. It was like the series that continued after Battle Brawlers. Ah. Maybe it's currently changed a lot, especially anime-wise, because I know the Plastic Gen and Metal Saga were completely over the top, but once Burst and X came around, they kind of turned down to crazy. Except they introduced, like, gears on the spinners or something that allowed you to just wall ride or stuff like that. I've only seen ads for it. I haven't seen people actually play Beyblade. But I grew up with the Metal Saga, but when I tried to look for, like, the Japanese dub to watch, first of all, it was impossible, because why would it? Why would it be possible? But secondly, there was also like the whole thing about indeed, the whole thing about them being over the top. So it was a little bit hard to watch, even on the first episode. It was a bit hard to watch. Which version that has Moses painted the Red Seas with Beyblade? I don't know. But like I said, it was like the Metal Saga, even during the first episode, it was very hard to watch, even in Japanese. So I just kind of gave up on the concept because it was so childish and ridiculous. And to be fair, I was really in it to see the third season, so Beyblade Metal 4D or something like that, when they introduced the 4D mechanisms. Because honestly, it's something similar to watching the transformations of Transformers, like watching them change modes during the battles. That kind of gave me a dopamine spike as well. I don't know why. I love watching mechanical parts like do their work. Maybe that's why we all love armor separation so much. But honestly, if I can find a compilation of those mode changes, then I'll definitely go ahead. But it was thanks to some of those essay videos on Beyblades, especially because I selectively chose to watch the ones that pertain to the Metal Saga. Oh my god. Seeing them actually quote the scenes, like extract the scenes to make a point, basically quoting their sources or something, and seeing that one scene of, is it Destroyer El Drago or something? The second evolution of El Drago, basically spin steel from being just tossed out by hand and actually winning the fight. Mate, that move is just... it's just anime to the peak, and the very reason why people would call like anime watchers losers. I don't know, I've nothing against the scene today, but it was just so over the top that you're able to just yeet out your top and still win the fight. It's ridiculous. In a good way, obviously. I had a friend who was into the... let me actually sand my mistake down. I had a friend who was into the London Beyblade scene when he was a kid, and apparently they love doing crazy mods like putting in nails in the middle to make them heavier. Oh yeah, because Beyblades are all about weight classes, aren't they? So the heavier you are, the stronger striking power it has. I don't know, because Beyblade is so intricate to the point where actually physics matters. It's profound. Like the profundity of it, of like building your own Beyblade to win tournaments. Like casual play, like what I do, casual play, it doesn't really matter all that much. But when you really go into tournaments, you have to figure out the weight balance, you have to figure out the actual weight of the Beyblade, and you have to think of how to think of what type to make it, like a stamina, defense, or attack type. And you have to figure out its like rotation patterns, its movement patterns, and what it could do to basically, I don't know, either spin steel, scoop up the enemy, or just knock them out of the field. There's a lot of profundity that basically a lot of it is left up to physics. So all you can do is build the best Beyblade you can and hope that physics like takes your side. It's, I don't know. It's such a fun thing to think about, because for a child show that is all about yelling at your Beyblades for them to do specific attacks or change modes, you already have to do them before the match even begins, especially with the 4D mechanics. Like with all of the different attack modes for the Beyblades and all that stuff like that. You have to be able to plan ahead. It's... when you think about it, actually Beyblades are far more profound than gunpla could ever be, just because it takes physics into account, especially in competitive settings. Granted, they're vastly different hobbies, so I'm comparing apples to oranges here, but it's still fascinating to think about like how a hobby can really ask you to use your brain power. Which version? Okay. I play cheap and throw the Beyblade in at the enemy knees. The Beyblade competitive scene is definitely a fun one, and And hell, it's amazing to see how much has changed since the plastic gen. I mean, I wasn't really into the competitive scene of Beyblade. Like, the best thing I've heard, like my best exposure to the competitive scene was hearing my friends talk about their experiences of the competitive scene. And that was before I started watching essays about how one Beyblade could essentially dominate the tournament because of its perfect weight balance, or how it has like 8 different OP combinations, so that the organizers have to ban it like, I don't know, 10 times or something like that. I'm basically talking about Herogium and Gravity Perseus, because the essays on those two, my god. And that's what really got me fascinated as to how, like, you really need to take physics into account in order to win at certain stuff. And that's kind of like what's fascinating me about Beyblade. I'm still talking about the Metal Gen, by the way. So, anyways, what have I missed? I have OG Beyblade. I love OG Beyblade. Anything after that, I do not watch. Can I really make it? Does that sound fair? I don't know. I've never seen Modern Beyblade. Hello, Addy Cox. Have I not greeted you already? Anyways. I do remember hearing about how OP Herogium was due to its weight for the Metal Saga. That line followed the Metal Gen, that was where things got explosive with Burst. I don't really know much about Beyblade Burst, mostly because I grew out of it during the time it was introduced. Wait, so this one is for the open hand. Meanwhile, these two are for the different hand. It's kind of funny how they molded it differently. Like, on the Destiny Gundam, they are universally designed. Like, it's mostly just the connection mechanisms that are different between right and left. Wait, is this accurate to the design? Did they take that from somewhere? Because from what I remember, the Legend Gundam has like identical looking beam shield generators on both of their hands. Okay. Too bad I can't hang around for long today. I gotta go to the hospital to get medicine for my dad. Oh, that's a shame. But I hope your dad gets well soon, George. I really do. But if it's any consolation, you got to hang out here for a little bit, so thank you for coming by if you have to leave soon. But, by the way, speaking of which, is there like any other childhood anime that you guys have seen? Like, for me, it's either like Pokemon or Doraemon. Like, stuff that we haven't talked about on the channel. Because I've gushed about Inazuma 11 already, and I know I need to see the Aries series. But something that really surprises me is that not a lot of people overseas know what Doraemon is. And I don't know if I should consider that fascinating or that you guys are really just living under a rock. Because Doraemon was a massive phenomenon back where I'm from. It's even become a cult classic. Like, because of the legendary performances of the Cantonese voice actors. Like, it's like one of the few anime that I would actually want to see in Cantonese instead of Japanese, mostly because of the nostalgia factor. And Doraemon is basically like more like a slice of life thing where a futuristic blue cat came to like a good for nothing kid's bedroom through time travel. and the gadgets that Doraemon brings out every single time, just I wouldn't say crack me up, but it's interesting to watch. Like, granted, the story can get a little bit samey, like, the more you see it, but it was still a good part of my childhood, and honestly, I would like to talk about it if I could. Because it's been so long since I've seen an episode of Doraemon that I really just don't have much recollection of it. Like, the one vivid memory I have of it, because it was so long ago, is watching the Stand By Me Doraemon movie, like the 3D animated one. It's like the final movie that the original Cantonese voice actor did before he passed away. So I feel like that movie is symbolic of his departure. Granted, the new Cantonese voice actor that came in to do Doraemon is more faithful to the Japanese iteration, but still. The guy who did Doraemon's voice in Cantonese was a massive legend, and honestly, still kind of miss his voice. SEA people begs to differ, yeah, but given how most of my audience is like from America, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you guys don't know what Doraemon is. Doraemon is pure childhood fantasy anime. Used to be addicted to Saint Seiya and Captain Tsubasa. Yeah, Evan, welcome in. Welcome in. I hope Bandai reviews the high grade Justice Gundam. Really hope so, to be honest, because they're doing even the B character from Seed Destiny. They really should be giving the Justice more love, if I'm honest, because like I ranted about in the Real Grade Justice Gundam video, which is the quintessential example of growing pains. It got attention in the real grade, and then it took them so long to get a master grade out, and then it took them even longer to implement it into an Extreme Versus game. So, if it took them 12 years to finish off the Seed Destiny Quartet, imagine how long they would try to push in order to not release a high-grade Justice Gundam. I mean, they struck a completely new mold for the Infinite Justice Type 2. What's stopping them from doing, like, a Justice Gundam? Even if they base it on the original Infinite Justice frame, like they did with the Aegis Knight, I wouldn't mind it. Because that, like, those constructions, those joints are good enough already as they are. Right, so that is the holding hand. Not a holding hand, the open hand. And as you can... It's so weird to have an open hand that has the Solidus Fulgor beam shield generators without a beam cannon in it. But yeah, personally I always used to find that the Legend Gundam with the Solidus Fulgor beam shield generators, they don't look good, because for the Destiny they actually have that, like that, what is it, the forearm armor that actually goes with the shape of the beam shield generators, whereas the Legend Gundam, it's just there. It literally is just there. I don't know, I've also heard some people say that they like this design better because it feels like it's more natural. I'm not gonna argue with you, but personally I feel like these things are just here. So instead of having like an accompanying piece of armor to, I don't know, mesh with the design. Okay, so what's next? Of course the legs are next. He's just standing there, menacingly. Not gonna lie, the high-grade Cosmic Arrow Revive kits are wonders to build and play around, especially with the Seed action system. I beg to differ, because the early Seed Freedom kits, especially with the Rising Freedom, the Immortal Justice, and the Black Knight kits, excluding the Karura, they're nightmares to handle. Like, literally, I forgot what I was doing up in the shelf. I think I was readjusting some of the kits on the display, and because I messed around with my Black Knight Squad Shiva so much, it literally just started to crumble. Like the backpack connection, the back plate connection, the beam cape connection, the backpack rotation connection, they're just they were literally vaporizing in front of my eyes, and that's like sort of the reason why I had such a mid opinion about the early Seed Freedom kits. I just don't like that they crumble so quickly. And a similar case can be said for the Immortal Justice Gundam, because I've had so many issues with that thing, even before I painted the kit, that it's just a frustrating kit. Alright, I need 22 and 8. Enjoyed building with the base dual Gundam from the dual blitz for that reason. Imagine Strike Freedom getting a GAT frame based build. It does use the Who's that? I really should have known better than to have my phone not on, than to not have my phone on silent. By the way, is Saint Seiya any good? I've been thinking of getting into it for a little while. Especially because I did a custom build project based on the 88 constellations. So I kind of have like an obsession with astronomy in a way. And granted, I do actually like astronomy. It's just that I am nowhere near as intelligent to pursue it professionally. But I like looking at the stars, I like looking at planets, I like hearing about weird space phenomena. But that's besides the point. If Saint Seiya is any good, then I might actually look into like watching it. Especially, of course, I'm gonna hear Amuro in there with the original Pegasus, because it was voiced by Toru Furuya. Justice and Aegis and remastered the GAT frame units, yeah. Destiny or Justice, which one got more love from Bandai? I mean, the Destiny, obviously. Like, excluding the original high grade kits, you got the Destiny High and Western Plus, and then of course the clear versions of those two, and then you got the Seed Freedom one with the Zeus silhouette, and then the Final Battle version. Whereas the Justice, you only got the Infinite Justice and the Infinite Justice Type 2. I swear to God, Bandai are really trying to push the Destiny Gundam and trying to forget the Justice ever existed. Granted, it may just be that Seed Freedom and Seed... you get the point. It may just be that Seed Destiny is more popular than the original Seed, so that's probably why... It's probably why they focus more on Seed Destiny. But come on, the Freedom Gundam needs its companion already, and the best kit in this scale is unfortunately still the real grade. Wait, am I doing this wrong? Oh, this should be just pointing up then. Ah, I see. It's just kind of like a rotary joint, and then I slot that. I see. I saw the MG Destiny can equip the high-grade Zeus cannon. Looks like I'm meaning to buy the Destiny Zeus one day. I mean, it's not necessarily compatible in the traditional sense. People just found that it is possible to just jam the Zeus parts onto the Master Grade SD Destiny Gundam. But if you're really just getting the Zeus silhouette for your own purposes, just get the third-party variants, because it's definitely not worth going out of your way to to buy the Zeus Destiny Gundam just for the silhouette. I know that for a fact because I've gone through the absolute torture that is the Zeus Akatsuki Gundam. And the glaring thing that about the Master Grade Zeus, not Master Grade, the Master Grade SD Destiny Gundam being compatible with the Zeus silhouette is the chest. The chest vents don't fit on perfectly. In fact, they don't fit on at all. You can force it on, like you can force it to work by doing some clever angling tricks, but you're never gonna get it to work 100%. But I definitely have seen some SD high-grade crossover builds that look pretty good. So, hey, if that's what you want to go for, then I'd say go for it. An intruder. It's just Twitch. Twitch is sending me notifications just because I watched like a couple Twitch streams before. I gotta block them sometime soon. But yeah, after listening to your verdict on the early C Freedom high grades, I can see where you're coming from. You used to glue to tighten up the backpack pegs. Yeah, especially the Rising Freedom with that massive backpack. That fell off on me constantly after I was done with the video. And of course, we shall not bring up that one girl who shall not be named. I mean, that kit is fine and all, but my God, it was torturous to touch it up. Looking back on Seed Freedom, I don't really have many good things to say about Seed Freedom. And it's so funny how the rehashed designs from the movie were in fact the best kits in the line. The only exclusion I can say, just looking at my shelf, are the Murasame Kai, the Black Knight Squad Karura, the Gelgook Menace, and the Zagok. All of those are like the only original designs that from the movie that are actually translated into very good kits. The rest of them are just meh. I feel like I got obsessed with chrome plated gold. I got the Hydra Hyakushiki chrome plated. I can stop thinking about the Delta Gundam Fenix Akatsuki. You're being hypnotized, mate. George, you're being hypnotized. You need to break out of it. I need to grab more water soon. But yeah, if I'm honest, if I really have to be that pedantic, the Duel and the Buster, well, they're original to the line, but honestly, I will still count them as rehashes if I'm honest. They're really just there for nostalgia bait. Considering that the mechs themselves really have like less than a minute of screen time. I've actually counted during the time I was prepping for my Dual Blitz Gundam video, I actually counted how long the Dual Blitz showed up on screen. And in total, it showed up for about, I think, 30 seconds? It didn't really do anything substantial in the movie either. Because all it did is sit in the meteor and just launch missiles. And then when it got separated from the meteors, it missed its rifle, which, if you didn't know, the meteors actually housed the Duel's original rifle, and it got shot out, and Z-Zack just ignored it, which is funny. And it just shot the Lancer darts into that one ship, that one coup d'etat ship, and just never showed up for the rest of the movie. So, the Duel and the Buster are really just there for nostalgia bait, but as for the kits, they're pretty good, honestly, but I feel like they were just made to be made, in a way. If you've seen my videos on them, you'll know what I mean. But I'll just elaborate a little bit here, just because I feel like, let's say the duel. The duel, it's a very basic design. It's a very basic, yeah. It's a very basic source design, and they couldn't really muck it up that much. But the most disappointing thing about that thing is that the thrusters are not separated pieces. Like, by now, with about 20 years worth of engineering advancements, they surely could have color separated the backpack thrusters, couldn't they? And I would maybe give them the benefits of the doubt for the Blitz armor, just because I would like to coin a term called booster pack syndrome. I don't want to be as pretentious as Mecha Gaikotsu, so that's why I haven't really been mentioning it that much. But I want to coin a term that's called booster pack syndrome, where Bandai puts a little bit less, like a little bit to a lot less effort in the parts that really serve as a booster pack. So let's say the build booster, it doesn't have much color separation just to make it easier for them to engineer, so that's why they relied on stickers. And the same thing can kinda go for the no-name units. I know there's a lot of examples out there that could really fit the term booster pack syndrome quite a bit, just because they were made simpler than what Bandai can actually achieve, just to make it easier to gate away or make it into a separate expansion part, like expansion part set or something. That's the phenomenon I'm talking about. But I can maybe give them the benefits of the doubt for having more simplistic engineering on the Blitz armor, just because they will be gating that away at some points to maybe make the Dual Gundam Assault Shroud the Blue Dual Gundam, or maybe, God forbid, the Hail Dual Gundam. No, that's the Hail Buster Gundam. What is it the Region Dual? It may be the Region Dual. And the same thing can go for the Buster Gundam as well, but that's a different case. And just because of like how Bandai really pulled their punches on the Dual Gundam, that's what really made me dislike it to an extent. Just because the core body is so good, the armor mechanic is so good, and it just feels so wrong for them to not actually go all out and color separate the thrusters. I know I may be making a mountain out of a molehill here, since it was like a relatively easy job for me to just mask off the parts and just paint, like spray paint the thrusters, but still, you really feel like Bandai really rushed those kits out without any perspicacity of what they're gonna do, because if the Region Duel, the Blue Duel, and the Dual Assault Shroud use that same backpack, they will also have the same missing colored thrusters. And you know the kicker is, the original duel, the original high-grade duel that came out in 2002, that actually has a set of color-separated thrusters on the backpack. So, isn't that just a funny thing to me? Like, that's just so funny how they can really make the proportions more stylized, they refine the mechanics, all that good stuff, but then they took a step back on color separation. That's the funny thing to me. It's okay, I just needed 5 minutes to get the kits out. It's just a modernized RX-782. Hoping the Dual Blitz and Lightning Buster gave more fights crucial. They could got more fights to be crucial in. They could even be shown keeping up well with the Gundams like the Strike Freedom and the Destiny. Yeah, they could be shown fighting in the background. I mean, the Duel did fight in the background. It got back in the Meteor and started shooting missiles at nothing. But still, more screen time for something that's meant to like raise nostalgia. Come on, mate. Relegating that to like a cameo just feels as cheap as what Marvel is pumping out nowadays. Like bringing Robert Downey Jr. back to play Doctor Doom when he after his swan song as Iron Man. Come on, mate. And the same thing, like kit-wise, can go to the Lightning Buster, because even though, like I said, they refined the visuals, they've made the mechanics work better, all that good stuff, and yet they still have the very same missing paint apps that were present on the original kit. You can really tell that they rushed that out. Just because I know for a fact that in today's technology, in today's like gunpla technology, you could have easily separated the crotch sensor into a separate clear green piece, unless unless that was already done. But the rear shoulder vents, they weren't color separated, and of course the rim on the thrusters, they aren't separated, but we don't talk about that. That's natural. There's just, I don't know, it just feels like you need to put in the same amount of effort for something that's 20 years in the future compared to something that released 20 years ago. You need to put in the same amount of effort to make it look as good, and they've copied over the color scheme when it's a very prime opportunity to redo the color scheme like they did with the Legend Gundam. So I don't know, you can really just feel like Bandai is just gunning for the seed marketing and disregarding everything else, because everything that has the seed label is bound to be popular. Yep, it's Region Duel. Yep. The good old Bandai DLC tactics. Yeah, first name, last name. You know what I'm talking about. Shiroi Kujira. The new feats on the Legend seem too thin relative to its bulk. The older Legend feat might work appearance-wise. Haha. To be fair, they did refine the proportions from the Okawara line art. Meanwhile, the 2005, 2007, I forgot when the original Legend Gundam came out, but the original Legend Gundam is 100% based on the Okawara line art. That's why it looks so dodgy. And nothing against people who like the Okawara design, it's just that it's not my cup of tea. Because they're always like, always look like they're stretched out the wrong way. So maybe I'll have to put the kit together to be able to make a further verdict on that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay, I need 33, 233. What even is that? Ooh. Wait, what's that? What's this white detail? I guess we'll find out. That's a vent thing. You need to explain even further in the review. What do you mean? The worst they could do is make the Dual Assault Shroud and Base Buster P Bandai, but it'll be extra funny though impossible to have them as option parts. Trust me, they probably will. But given how they're capping on Seed Destiny at the moment, maybe they will do the Dual and Buster in the retail market, and then do the Blue Dual and Verde Buster in P Bandai. And God knows whether or not they're gonna touch Librarian Works, because that's kind of like lost media in the Gundam community. And to be honest, that's kind of a sad thing, because I wanna do more, like, sure, I wanna do more obscure units, but it's kind of a sad thing that some of those variants that are actually cool in the Seed mythos have been shoved to the wayside. Something like the reflections aren't really helping me at all. Something like the Gale Strike, or the Region Duel Hellbuster, Nebula Blitz. The Nebula Blitz is actually kind of an analog for the Purus in Seed. So even in the side stories, they had to take from the Universal Century. But some of those obscure units are gradually being lost to time, just because Bandai won't reprint the old 1/100th kits. And granted, the only kits that I'm interested in out of those 5, or out of that line entirely, is the Gale Strike, and maybe, what's that Savior variant called? The Green Savior Gundam. I forgot its name. I remember that it looks cool. That's all I remember about it. Like, that's how lost they are. Like, for me, as what I may tout myself to be the researcher in the English reviewing community, I still forgot some of the names that I've seen before. What's that Green Savior Gundam called? Vent Savior. That's what's it. But then Bandai released Master Grade Astray Mirage Frame second issue. Was that Librarian Works, or did they release it just because it's Astray? They must have released that just because it's an Astray. Just because they were kind of running out of variants to actually milk. Because for the red frame, actually, let me just focus on building the kits for a little bit. C221. Oh yeah, because this thing has asymmetrical legs, that's why. Not asymmetrical, but you know what I mean. So 21 for this side and 20 for the other side. They must have released the for the red frame, you have the red frame flight unit, red frame Kai, the red dragon, and then there's also a knockoff, well, I mean in-universe knockoff called the Turn Red. That's been released as a Master Grade kit. And then for the blue frame, I think there's the original blue frame and then the second revise, which then I think they see no point in releasing the second L in Master Grade form. And then you have the blue frame D. And then the gold frame, they still haven't released the gold frame, but then they released the Mirage frame. Oh god. Sometimes you cannot follow what Bandai is actually thinking about. Their caliber of thinking is like 4 parallel dimensions ahead of us. For all the wrong reasons. High-grade Cosmic Era Zaku Warrior, please, Bandai. Yep, I will agree. Weird Seed is not popular where I live. There's still loads of unsold seed kits in shops, lol. Actually, from the... Was it from the con? No, it was from Gundam Base yesterday. I saw a ton, and I mean a ton, of Infinite Justice Type 2s in the Gundam Base. And honestly, I feel like that's such a shame, because whoever doesn't buy that is missing out. But yeah, when I say seed is popular, I mostly mean in the Japanese market. They will suck up anything that is UC, anything that is seed, especially if it's the main cast or... It's just seed in general, honestly. Because the Astray is doing well, the original cast is doing well as much as I hate them, and they still manage to, I don't know, they still manage to be a financial success. But Bandai hasn't even released the Mars jacket yet. I literally refuted my own point when I was thinking about it, because the gold frame doesn't have a master grade yet, unfortunately. Oh, those 1 to 100 scale Librarian Works designs are very cool. Yeah, and there is a Gale Strike conversion kit that I saw online for the entry grade Strike. It was very well made, but the one thing I have a gripe with that set is it doesn't have the new face. And unfortunately, because it was made for the entry grade, primarily made for the entry grade, that making a new face mask is impossible. Because the entry grade's face mask is tied to the helmet. And I tried to MacGyver a solution, but I never really wanted to commit, just because even if I buy the files, I have nobody to print it off for me. And preferably, if I go into 3D printing, I would want to buy a resin printer, just to have like more details, more precise details when I print the parts out. Actually, by the way, do you guys play around with 3D printing? Because that's one of the things that I want to get into at some point in my life. Especially if I manage to get my own place, I will have probably like a dedicated section of like either the garage or a specific room that I do 3D printing in. And I really want to start learning about that whenever I do get into it. So that I don't have to ask people from, I don't know, thousands of miles from me to help print stuff off for me. Because there are a fair few conversion kits that I really want to print out, and I don't have the ability to, just because I know absolutely nothing about prepping stuff for 3D printing, and then let's say hardware isn't an issue. I don't even have the skills to do 3D printing. And if I can manage to do that, then it would save me a lot of trouble for a lot of projects. Okay, B18. Although thinking about it, the rest aren't too crazy too. Can easily see the Gale Strike getting a master grade. I mean, it's different skirts, different backpack, and a different face mask as far as I remember. Different shoulders as well. And do you know one thing I was surprised that Bandai didn't make into like an option part set or something like that? The Dragoon Striker. If they want to cap on Seed, they want to cap on the original cast, they really should make something from Seed Recollection. I mean, they've had like the two new designs the realistically that can realistically be made into a kit, because we don't have like a massive mobile armor mold, or what is it? Is it a Jin or something that was introduced in Seed Recollection? But the two kits that they can realistically make from Seed Recollection are either the Dragoon Striker as part of the option part set line, or the Murasame test type based on the internals of the Murasame Kai. So I'm surprised Bandai hasn't done any of those yet, especially when it's like bespoke to, I don't know, SDG Generation Eternal. Oh, so what do I have to do here? Open it up, slide the armor on, and then close the leg up. Got it. Don't forget the base red frame was P Bandai for some reason. Really? So if you don't want the flight units, you have to go P Bandai. That's annoying, Blizzard Brute. That's really annoying. I'm still laughing about how the first Seed Freedom Massacre is somehow the Astray red frame. Yeah, the Liberty Astray red frame. By the way, we still don't have any sort of news regarding that. For some odd reason. Don't know why, don't know how. But they've announced the kit and just decided to piss off. Okay, so 13. I cut out one of the thigh armor pieces because I'm stupid. Will we be getting a new Barbatos Adapts? Yes, Garrett, I will be getting it. I have marked down May, and I will be getting it as soon as listings pop up. Because I want to bring you guys the information, and because, of course, I'm an Iron-Blooded Orphans fan. Goldframe had massacred only the original design since it has the Gale Block Bazooka. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now that you say it, I remember that. But let's be honest. If we talk about Goldframe, we would most certainly be talking about the Amatsu variants. Okay, so how do we do this? Slide it out. Insert this through. Okay, that just dislocated. Oh my god. Slide this out. Slide this through. Line everything back up. And Bob's your uncle. There is certainly a lot of like lining stuff up in this build, and I definitely think it's worth keeping in mind for my final script. This kit requires alignment. Like, it's very strict about it for some odd reason. Okay, so hold the bar down to print. Well, I got it in the end, so that's fine. Not yet. When I have channel 20,000 subscribers, then I'll be able to dabble with 3D print. Hey, I did this for about 12 years and I still am not at 20,000 subscribers yet, so calm down. And even if I set up a community funding project for a 3D printer, I don't think I would be able to commit to it. Mostly because I don't really have the space for it. Like, I already filled up my my workstation in the garage with all of my paints and paint setups and whatnot. If I actually had to clean it up later on. By later on, I mean tomorrow morning. So I'm not staying up late for the Nyan video, nor am I staying up late to clean that stuff up. And take it from somebody who's irresponsible with their airbrush. If you, like, for lacquer paints, if you can thin it back out, it'll be fine. You can unclog your airbrush pretty easily. I wish this was something I didn't have to learn, but hey, take it from me, so that you guys won't be as irresponsible with your airbrushes as I do. Because I'm a lazy twat. Okay, so open this up, slide this through. Oh boy. Okay, it kind of hides it. Okay. If you guys didn't know what happened, like while I was sliding it in, the bottom vent got caught. I should be able to mask it with some paint if I'm honest, but that really sunk my heart right there. But it's not bad enough to warrant me getting a duplicate copy. It's just somewhat an unnecessary design element, I think. I don't know, because this alignment is the name of the game, and some parts aren't really made for alignment. Granted, yeah, it definitely is human error. Right, for releasing schedule, it's a math calculation. There's approximately 4 to 5,000 Gundam model kits, plus a couple of thousand of other things like missions. The two factories, even running 24/7, can only output an X amount of kits campaigns, so it takes literally years for something to come back into rotation. I mean, yeah, it's simple maths, but it's also like up to Bandai to decide which one of those kits are more marketable than others. So they would not put resources into reissuing kits that are potentially not marketable. Okay, I gotta go now. Thanks for the stream and see you next time. Hey, nice having you here, George. Hopefully your dad gets well soon. They had the G-frame version. Speaking of 3D prints, I'm actually thinking about 3D printing some custom weapons which can fit into the Destiny Gundam's weapon racks. Ah, that's nice. Are you gonna be customizing your own Destiny Gundam? Maybe we could 3D print some more great swords or cannons as physical weapons for the base Destiny has. Yeah, maybe. Because with 3D printing, that will unlock a lot of different possibilities. Actually, let me see if I can... Nah. That part's a lost cause. I'll just have to cover it up with either like paint or something, or use some thinly coated cement to make them more malleable. I'll leave it for now. I'll probably just use paint to cover it over it. It's fine. What do you think? Perfect Grid Unleashed, Sazabi or Mark II? I don't know, actually. I would be surprised, like, because at the moment they've done perfectly unleashed kits of only Armoro units. Maybe they'll do it for the Zeta? I don't know, because the Nu never really got a perfect grade until now. So that's why people are going like crazy for it. Not to mention like how somebody just called it the god of gunpla or something like that. But yeah. I'm imagining they will do the Zeta. They'll probably just focus on like lead Gundam units for now. That's what I'm imagining. But I don't know. I'm not bound on it. To avoid airburst cloud, just dump the remaining paints into a cup and not spray it. Yeah, but if you really have to be lazy, you just leave the airbrush there. But then again, that's just me. That's just tips coming from the anti-example of gunpla building. Self-transforming Zeta like Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Soundwave? No, that's not what I mean. PGU DJ. that's the second kit I was gonna propose. A perfect green unleashed DJ. Imagine that, because the DJ, if you guys didn't know, if the DJ was molded like, well, not necessarily molded, but retroactively considered to be an unfinished Gundam unit, because it's something that was started with the Re 100 kit, where they've molded some empty Gundam eye sockets in the face, and then that kind of just gone into the high grade, where that has 2 eye pieces, with one with the Gundam, one with the Gundam eyes and one without. And then I think the KA signature kits, not kits, the KA signature figures actually gone further with that reference and features a removable mask with a Gundam face in it to complement the eye sockets. So if you think about it, the DJ is actually an honorary Gundam based on modern interpretations. So in that sense, it should be the next PGU Gundam, because it's Amuro, right? PGU ball. Imagine that, a perfectly unleashed ball. That would be so hilarious. If the next perfectly unleashed is a ball, I am buying Juju one of them. I mean, she has 3 balls in her collection. Why not add a particularly large one, right? And to be fair, the balls are pretty good kits. Well, I only have the high grades, but they're pretty good as they are. Hello there, Alex Rivera. So sorry for reading your name wrong the first time. Welcome in. Maybe we get Sazabi PGU for Char's counterattack anniversary in 2028. Maybe? Because as far as I know, they have never ever designed a rival to go with the one-to-one statues. So like, remember the original Gundam? I think it was that inspired the real grade, I think. And then they have never done a custom Zaku variant. Same thing for the Unicorn. They've never done a custom Shinanju variant. And then the Freedom Gundam, they had never done a Providence Gundam variant. But the Nu Gundam actually has a custom Sazabi variant to go with it. So, in my opinion, the Nu Gundam would definitely spawn a rival because of its existence. People say Char's counterattack, nostalgia, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But it's just based on my observations that the Nu Gundam will always spawn a rival. So maybe you're right on the money there. Whoops, Math is around 40 years old. Yeah. PGU Haru Final Battle the Dream. They will not be deviating from the Universal Century for a while for the Perfect Grade Unleashed line. Wait a minute, what's the paint guide say on the So dark earth, black and green. Is that brownish? I'll see for sure when I get to the garage later on. I just want to fix up that one mistake and cover it up with paint. No wonder they say to cut out the pieces cleanly. Hang on. It's hard to find all the Gundam X. Gundam X PGU, if only. And then they'll probably sell the LED units for twice the kit it's offered for. Like, and also, like, I've seen those Twitter clips of somebody making a custom lighting rig for the, is it the high grade or the master grade? I think it may be the master grade Gundam X, I think. And honestly, with those lighting rigs, they looked so cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Sasabi, too bulky for Char suit. Shinanji did a much better job. Safe choice, PGU freedom. Not safe for work choice. PGU Iori Rinko. We're really going there, huh? We're really going there? Sure, a PGU Iori Rinko. Actually, I have a better idea. Ask Elon Musk to do like female robots with actual soft parts in their construction. That would be a far better alternative, won't you think? Imagine Iori Rinko with a plastic inner frame, but just the soft material on the outside that they've used for Luna Maria. Imagine that. Jesus, we're really gonna go there. Especially because they've improved on their face molding over the past years. Thank you, Super Fumina, for what is it? Spearheading that improvement to everybody's detriment. Oh my god, imagine that. No need to do that, just commission to XT or MMX. What do you mean by that? EG Gym would make $1 gundillion. Imagine they made an entry grade gym. It would be out of stock for at least the first 5 prints. The first 5 runs of that kit, out of stock. We mainly need to watch out for that Japanese guy on Twitter who builds dozens and dozens and dozens of those. Of the same kits, like literally army building them. What's that guy's name called? I don't know, but that's the guy who has 13 high-grade destroy Gundams and dozens of different grunt suits, and I saw that he also has multiple Season 2 Michaelises. And honestly, where do you even find the money to be able to have such a collection? It's a doll manufacturer, a real one-to-one silicon doll. Okay, I think we should stop that conversation right there, because the last thing I want to happen to me is being banned from YouTube because we're discussing about R34 stuff. Save that for elsewhere. Not gonna say where. PGU Neo Zeon with 12 kilograms of plastic. Do you think that would really be enough for a perfect grade Neo Zeon? I mean, think about it. the fin funnels of the Perfect Grade Unleashed Nu Gundam has 400 grams attached to it. Do you really think 12 kilograms would be enough? It might be something like more like 24 kilograms, if you ask me. Because knowing how they put in, like, I don't know, 50 parts per fin funnel. Imagine how many parts they will put in the Storm boosters. Like, literally, the high grade did it best. Like, it's a simple construction because it's a fuel tank, nobody will see the inside. But knowing Bandai, they'll probably do like a full-on industrial scale monocoque layout inside of those fuel tanks. And have like extra teeny tiny details that you need and like an A1 sheet of stickers to be able to fill in. If they actually make a Perfect Grade Unleashed Neo Zeon. Or what's worse, Perfect Grade Unleashed TR6 inlay. Imagine that. You're gonna be screwed. I've done the maths before. A 1:144 scale TR6 inlay would be 2 meters high. So take that as you will. Okay, I need C218 and both 25s. Wait. I'm a little bit confused about how they would. I'm a little bit confused as to what they're doing with the waste. But we shall see. Only the finest of Bandai's engineering for Rinko. PGU Kihar, really? Would prefer Mega Size Argama so the high grade and real grade are fitting into the hangar. Mega Size Argama? Really? A Mega Size Argama. You're talking about 1:48 scale. Guys, stop. She's a married woman. Yeah. Like I said, we should stop with the Ioi Rinko discussion. PGU Xeon will be okay. Bandai can skip designing the legs. Easy money. Yeah, easy money. And then they can sell the legs separately. In fact, if I'm honest, I am still surprised that they still haven't sold the legs of the Perfect Xeon in real grade form. Like, I'm really surprised that they haven't done that yet. Because it was such a big easy money. Just sell a set of legs and everybody would go for it just because it's the Xeon. Alright, so what they're doing here is offering an app crunch at the expense of the legs. So look at this. So they're offering this side to side tilt, but at the expense of the legs being solid. And based on the construction, I don't think I can just drive a peg through. Actually, I think I can. I think I can drive a peg through there in case I need to repair it. Because based on my last experiences with such a connection with the Gundam Sirius, I am honestly freaked out that we're getting like static legs again. You can tell that I'm running out of steam, can't you? Are you guys talking about Ioi Rinko again? In mega size not 1:48 scale. Is that only Bandai's many kits of the ships? I mean, it's very understandable, to be honest. Because think about it, the 1:144 scale Ptolemaeus container is as large as the box of that is as large as the Penelope and Xe Gundam twin set. So for them to make a 1:144 scale Ptolemaeus, that would be insane. That would literally take up the length of an entire room. Just for you to have like a ship. I know somebody must have been insane enough to buy 4 containers. Just so they can have like an analog of what the ship would look like. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody out there actually bought 4 containers and started 3D printing the ship. Genuinely wouldn't be surprised. Have you seen the SMP kits? I really like the Daizujin and Leopardon kits. I haven't seen it. Speaking of funnel weight, I wish that the 1:1 44 scale new funnel option also had a molded rack of the funnel sandwiched together. What do you mean by that? Make a subline for model ships based on Gundam. Screw any gym army building and horde moose size. Oh god. Okay, so what do I have to do here? Wait, what do you mean build 2 sets of waists? What? What? Does this need a second set of skirts or something? Oh wait, what? Since when? Since when were the front and back skirts of the Legend Gundam the exact same design? Okay then. Sure. Okay, so what am I supposed to do with these things? I'm supposed to slot them in from the front. And fold them up, huh? Wait, what? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna finish off the front skirts before I do the back skirts. That is a detail that I never knew. Hi guys, how's the build stream going? It's going fine, actually. We're 2 minutes and 22 in, and I'm on the waist. And this guy only has, like, a gigantic backpack, and 8 different Dragoon pods. So, I believe we'll be able to finish this kit within this sitting. And then I'll go to the garage and repair my damage and hopefully put the Nyan back together again. I'm not sure because I'm getting kind of knackered right now and it's almost midnight. May need a snack. No, actually, I actually am gonna probably go and get a cold drink at this point. Not any alcohol, mind you, but I'm gonna need something chilly. Okay, so the arrows molded onto the waist frame is reminding us that that's the front. Am I just being a dummy, or did any of you guys notice this detail before? At all? Because I took it for granted that the designs for the front and back skirts would be completely different, but apparently not. Okay. Review requests you want to grab but you don't have enough resources. A lot of them. Like, I still have the Blue Destiny Unit 3 and the Asteroid Origin in my mind. And there's a lot of people asking me to review stuff like the Real Grade R2, and there are definitely a lot of like review requests, especially for Armored Core. But there's just been too many of them that I don't really have, like, I don't really remember all of them off the top of my head. But now it's just me trying to focus on like priorities. And now I really, thankfully, 2026 is mostly gonna be a dud for Gundam. So I will be able to catch back up, but I don't want to be swamped with new releases. Hopefully I don't get swamped, because I have about 4 more kits from 2025 that I want to include in the list before I wrap the year up. And because I took like a 2-month break last year, I was literally swamped with old, like with previous year and new year releases. So I don't know if I mentioned this on stream, but I'm just getting so tired of playing catch up. And I really want to put out more original content, I really do. But it's just that I want to prioritize getting the top 10 list out, that I was just kind of stuck in the loop. And especially because G-Quux was happening last year. And I had a lot of real life stuff, like my driving exam, getting a car, getting a job, all that kind of stuff. That just kind of held me back. So I'm glad to finally be almost over 2025 by now. And in fact, I really should get the Legend Gundam video out so that I can focus back on the GN flag. I still haven't finished building his boyfriend yet. But I really want to get a GN flag video out, seeing as there's literally nobody else that reviewed it besides one of the more obscure ones. I don't even think Gunpla has a review on the GN flag. And it's so weird because everybody would go crazy knowing that there's a new flag mold, and I know some people are living under rocks, not knowing what the Japanese side has to offer. So they may not even know that the GN flag is a new mold. And I want to bring that information out. Argama and Ptolemaios are the one most beautiful Gundam ships. Indeed. I've seen people with the Argama launch pad put a poster of the Argama on a wall and then put the launch pad over it. Well, that's a good analog. But knowing how insane people can be in this hobby, I'm not putting it past them that they'll probably get the launch pads and or any of the ship stuff and just proceed to print out, like 3D prints the entire ship. Not putting it past them. Just because there can be some insane people in this hobby. Like, I've seen somebody actually do a build of the TR6 inlay in 1:144th scale. That was a couple years ago at this point, and excuse me, I don't know where that build went, or whether or not the builder decided to paint the kit in or not, but it was still fairly insane to see. So that's why I'm really not putting it past anybody to be printing out those motherships at all. Ooh! Ah, I see. That click actually shocked me a little bit. PG Unleashed Nail Argama? You wish. That thing will be as big as a house. Hello, I've been here but haven't had time to chat. Hey Mr. Goo, welcome in. First I hear about the back and front skirts being the same. The backpack just grabs all the attention. Yeah. And I think it's kind of like that gray block experiment. Like, you know, the optical illusion where the two shades of gray on top and bottom are like the same, but because the middle is different colors, you see them differently. I think it may be just because the cross piece and the butt piece are different that I never really noticed that these are the same skirts. But anyways, time to build 2 of the 10 Dragoons. So I need 20 C and B 24. And then 2 of those shells. Actually, let me just cut those out first, because they kind of build similarly to the G-Quux Rickdom's legs, in which like an internal structure sandwiches into the shell. Hey Yovi, not gonna lie, most of the Legend Gundam Dragoons were reused from the Providence lore-wise source Kakarot 197. Yeah, even still, I don't think they're gonna be reusing this kit in any way besides making a variant of it. Imagine if they made a Providence Gundam now that they have the Legend Gundam. Wouldn't that be insane? And yeah, actually, why haven't they done that yet? Like, the Providence Gundam is like the big bad of the series. Then again, who are we to question Bandai's decisions? They've made some of the weirdest decisions in the market, and still nobody can comprehend why. I'll be happy if you do a Zaku 1 review, maybe the Master Grade 1. Like I said, I want to pick up the Sniper, and people have recommended me between the Yonam Kirks and the standard one, I should get the Yonam Kirks one. Actually, maybe that would be a good idea at some point. Like, as in a rare kit to gun for. What am I looking for here? So this goes like this, and okay, and then the red detail just pokes through. That's actually very scary levels of color separation, considering that the original high grade literally just has these Dragoons in one piece. That's scary and impressive. Thank you, Kakarot197. Hey Soka, welcome in. Have I really been streaming that long already? In which episode lost the Neo Agumon to left Launchpad? I completely forgot it. I don't remember, actually. Double Zeta wasn't really my area of expertise. Hey Sam, I always thought the Providence was developed from the Legend. I don't know why. I guess it's because the Providence got a Master Grade. I wasn't until Reader Plus review and I learned the correct lore. Oh my god, you've been living under a rock, mate. I'm sorry. But yeah, the Providence came first. And then there's, of course, the Nyx Providence from... I think is it Librarian Works that also done those? I forgot. But there's also the Nyx Providence, and then there's, like this, the Legend Gundam. The Legend Gundam is basically just a copy and pasted idea from the original series, from the original Seed series, because, God forbid, Fukuda come up with anything original. Especially considering that this thing is piloted by a Raul Le Creuset clone. Does it have articulation? Wait a minute, do you mean to tell me this doesn't have articulation? Wait a second. Oh my god. Okay, now that is something that the original high grade has done. I think. I have the original high grade. It's been so long since I've interacted with it, but... You mean to tell me that the Dragoons on the side skirts look like... Look at this. Look like they have a joint. But they don't move. At all. So I'm gonna plug this in. Nah, mate. Nah, mate, you really had me in the first half, right there. You had me in the first half. Okay. You sons of... Right, now I was wondering why. Yep. The sideward splits aren't that good just because the Dragoons don't move. Granted, even if it did move, the legs would collide into the skirts as they are. But, okay, you can rotate them out and cheat, I guess. But it looks like it has a joint. It doesn't have a joint. Right, so we're going back to the good old dual Blitz Gundam conundrum at this point, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now we move on to the gigantic shell. Guess it's just the backpack Dragoons? Yeah, the backpack Dragoons do move, and they have elaborate joints for those, but as far as I remember, the original high grade can move the side skirt Dragoons on top of the side skirts. So they're kind of like double jointed. If Gundam Seed continue, they're going to use the Titan's mobile suit designs for it, like a Marasai ripoff or an Ashimar ripoff, who knows. No, they would not rip them off. They would just transplant it over to whatever seed project that would be called. Seed Justice, maybe? I don't know. Artheron is the better character objectively. So if they do continue it, they're probably just gonna straight rip them off. Not rip them off, they'll transplant them into the Cosmic Era. God forbid Seed come up with any original ideas at this point. Cost reduction, yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure new mold has movable Dragoons. Yeah, just the backpack, yeah. Wow, it really looks like it should have been able to move there. Yeah. Yep, there's a mod for the side skirts that's floating on Japanese Twitter to increase the range. I've only heard the secret feature. Wait a second. Okay, Bandai, you sneaky bastards. So, let's see. Because there's a very clear divider over here. So, let's say I slice that. Would that be able to open up the joints for movement? Yummy fermented milk. Mate, you're gonna get a very upset stomach. Don't do that. Let's say if I slice it right there. The legs are just for show. Yeah. Remember the Gundam Thunderbolt Season 3 idea from the 7th Gundam build stream? I don't actually. I don't remember. I mean, isn't Thunderbolt like complete already? Where's my knife? Okay, so I'm gonna disassemble this and further analyze what's inside. Do you think the Legends effect parts will be reused in the future? No. They're too bespoke for it. Yep. Yep, look at this. Look at this. I took that internal structure off. And it clicks in. It clicks in. It should be able to move. Can't wait for the see that guy line. Yeah, so logic would dictate if I slice it where the slice it in the middle, I should be able to use this as the internal structure and then separate the bottom piece so that it will be able to move. Am I right in that line of thinking? Should I commit? Like, that's the thing. Should I commit to this? No, it's good for you. It's like yogurt, but less thick and a little sour. Ah. Give me a side stories missing Link anime in the Thunderbolt art style. Yeah. They were so close, lol. Okay, I'll let you guys decide. Should I commit to that? If you guys think I should, I'll do it on stream. Because if anything, I'll just glue them back in place. What's the worst that can happen? Keep the part as is. Do it. Can you glue it back if you break it? I mean, it will be a clean slice, so I will be able to glue it back on. If anything, I can simply glue that part down and then glue the connecting pieces over here into the joints so that they don't move. Do one side and mention it in the review. You only live one side, do it. It really does look like it's possible. The Thunderbolt Xeon is so crazy. Okay. Okay, I will have to put up an experimental warning right here. Because I am gonna do this if I don't get the side pieces caught. Actually, why don't I just do this? I've been sitting on this for long enough. I've been sitting on having to do this for long enough, so I might as well take the opportunity to swap out my knife blade. It's been completely screwed for God knows how long since I last changed the blades. Does anyone have a hammer? Ah. I'll save it for later. Okay, where's the blade? And here's my cutting mat slash mouse pad. Okay, so if I'm correct, okay, that's not where I want to slice. Alright, so there we go. No freaking way. This actually works. This actually flippin' works. You pick it back on. You still have the ball joint. And you have a movable Dragoon. They were so close! You absolute knobheads. Come on, mate. Right, I'm gonna leave this one as it is. And actually, in fact, I'm gonna swap them over because I'm a boring right-handed person. Foxboy. So I'm gonna swap the movable one onto this side. And then keep the other side static, so that when I do the articulation section, I can easily access this without worrying that I would reveal my secrets. Which is better, standard cutting mat, definitely. If you want a glass cutting mat, you'd better be able to tolerate scratches, because that will get scratched up bad. Somebody clip it. Somebody clip this moment and allow me to put it up on the channel as a short. Whoops. That's gone. Oh, Oh, the Dragoons have a locking mechanism. I see. So as to prevent them from spinning in storage. I see. So if anything, I can just glue that down. Glue the top section down. Great! That's actually fantastic. I consider this an absolute win. Let me just clean that up a little bit. I know there's a secret mechanic in the big Dragoons, so bear with me on that one. Maybe John Bana forgot that they had to be separate in the molding process. Then why would they design it to look like a joint? Anyways, let's get back onto the backpack. Give us a Dom Trooper review. Dom Trooper, you want the high grade? History is made, people. Yep. It's the only reason I'm a bit reluctant on kit bashing. History has been written by Daring Man. Go! And even then, the piece is hidden under the armor, so you just have to glue it on if it doesn't work. Yes, that's part of the mod I was referring to. It's similar to the snip in the middle part of the waistcoats with independent movement. I mean, that's not exactly a secret, but I was about to chastise Bandai for pulling another dual Blitz Gundam on this thing, but well, I guess there's gonna be another dedicated section for secret mechanics on this thing, because I've seen a Chinese review on this thing, and they've only mentioned that the nozzles on the large Dragoons can be separated. I'll demonstrate what I mean in a bit. But I thought to myself, there was no way they made that thing look like a joint without being able to be modified into one. So, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Age 1 Razor and Age 2 Artemis expansion sets. You know what I mean? Because they've implemented mechanics where you can actually use your own leftover polycaps in order to make the functionality better. So all you simply have to do is to snip off the pre-existing joints and put in the polycaps, and then you'll have something that can function even better. So this feels like that to a degree, except they don't even actually mention it anywhere in the manual. It's really up for you to discover. Trust me, I know you know who doesn't mention that. And by the way, spoil me. Does a reply actually talk about these secret mechanics, or did he just talk about the kit at face value and just moved on? Because trust me, we're making history with this thing. I mean, it's legendary as it is. So for Bandai, I don't know whether or not that's intentional, but for them to implement such hidden mechanics and for us to discover, I don't know, it's like discovering the Ark of the Covenant. I use a wooden chopping board. Yeah. Yeah. A chopping board for what? Cooking food? Or just chopping up your model kits? That's gonna be scary, mate. Clip that moment and put it on the review. I'll see whether or not I can do that. If not, I'll just put it as a short. Okay. 19 with the pegs facing out. Like this. Wait, oh, so it's another, like, one of those rotary locks. I think. Wait, so I put it on like that. And slide it down like that. That should maybe lock it into place. Oh yeah, okay, so we may have 2 clips from this, from the stream that I can put up as shorts. Achievement unlocked. Join Bandai in sneaking in secret features. In today's adventure, you'll be discovering secret features. Each one of you will be handed out a model kit, and you'll have to discover what secret features have been hidden in it beyond the instruction manual. The first to find all secrets can win the game. I had to put up my Kane voice right there. Daisy! Fuck off. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna drive you guys insane with my horrible singing. Okay. A118. Just as we were talking about the dual blitz gunner much earlier. Yep. Also, high-grade Destiny Gundams under the Progress kits. Don't regret that for a Christmas present. Oh my god. That's one of the kits I will strongly recommend you get, even though it has some flaws with it. I would highly recommend you get a high-grade Cosmic Era Destiny Gundam. Now, whichever version you get is up to your discretion. I am not your dad. So if you want to like fork the money over to scalpers to buy the final battle version, that's your prerogative. But so long as you're getting something of the new Destiny Gundam mold, you are golden. There are lots of nubs on the rounded structures, and that's going to be a little bit annoying. Okay, so the 10s go up there. B110, B210. And then we'll start on the shell. So that's the middle structure done. That's vastly better compared to the original. Because the original really relies on that sandwiching mechanic to sandwich everything into the central mass. So once you move it, everything will just fall apart. This is vastly differently engineered, and I am all for it. Your Kane impression sounded decent, not gonna lie. Just wait until I sing Daisy Bell and drive you guys insane. I mean, we have about 27, 28 viewers in here, which is a massive record to be honest, but if I sing Daisy Bell and drive you guys insane, then I'm the one to blame for it. Why not talk about the... Ryu didn't talk about the Dragoons that much. He mostly focused on getting the Kotobukiya flying stand to display them. Fair enough, so at least my review will have some value in it. And like I said, since this thing is based on the original animation, I don't have to paint it. Totally not me. It's totally not me making an excuse not to paint it. I'm so sick of painting in these temperatures. Also, because to get this to work, you need to chop the part in half. Bandai doesn't advertise the needing the knives and saws for the kit, so this literally is meant for people who have past model kit experience. I mean, they could literally market the fact that they put that in there, because it will literally take somebody who digs into their kits beyond the superficial level in order to do that. And I don't know whether or not they would advertise using like the good old poly caps for the H1 Razor and H2 Artemis sets. I don't know if they did that in the original magazine illustrations, but I don't know, it feels like discovering a golden Easter egg from Ready Player One or something like that. Okay, so let's just put this thing on. And the pipes are seamlessly integrated into the chest. So at least it's not like the 3 ribcage pipes that the Providence has, which is good. Well, need to head off now. Hopefully everybody enjoys the rest of the day. Thank you for having, I'm glad to have you here, Warrock. Thank you for popping in. Number 15. Legend Gundam Waist Skirt. The last thing you want in your model kit is a... Can somebody finish that line for me? Somebody finish that line for me. I couldn't do... My improv skills are not there yet. Okay, what do I need? A2... I better sort these out. The rest of the A1 runner is just weapons anyway, so I can just discard that for the time being. Okay, so A120... I can probably build both sides at the same time then, I suppose. Well, it's asking me to build both sides at the same time, so screw it. I'll go ahead. Waiting for Banner to make a Hyper Justice Gundam. Yeah, exactly, John. Exactly. Whoa, backpack. Yep. I found the kit you built last time on the UK shop. Woo. Which kit? Which one? Yeah, the high-grade Dom Trooper. It has basically no up-to-date reviews of it, and it's a simple, cool kit. I'll take a look. Is it... Wait, the Dom Trooper. The Dom Trooper. Do you mean the Universal Century one or the Origin one? I had to do a double take on myself because I don't want to mix up Dom Trooper and Dom Tropin. I know Tropin is the one from Seed, and the Dom Troop. Because I'm not really that well versed in Doms, except the one that says family all the time. So I need to do a double take on myself just to make sure I'm getting the right one. At least understanding where you're coming, like which one you're talking about. Okay. Hello, first time seeing one of these. Hey D5A. How do I pronounce your name? Like with Dfia or something? I'm so sorry. Dom Trooper. Oh god damn it! I literally did a reverse double take. I'm such a dummy. Like I said, the only Dom I know is the one that says family a lot. It's good, it's a confusing one, yeah. Disa. Oh, that's oh, that 5 is supposed to be an S, okay. You guys are just watching me mess up time after time on stream. And especially now that there's what, like 24 viewers? Yep, 24 viewers. Like watching me mess up seed lore while building a seed kit. All I know is those DOMs are banned, and they should be banned, but nah. Yeah, because Mirage Colloid has been banned in the second Valentine War, haven't they? And then the Lacus, Team Lacus just decided to bust those out anyway, just because screw treaties. Who needs to abide by treaties if we're the good guys? For the sake of our blue and pure world, right? If we're the good guys, who cares if we use nukes? Who cares if we create the Oppenheimer and what is it? Create the Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project. We're the good guys. That's essentially what C boils down to, by the way. They should really make a revive of at least one Dom kit. Any variant is fine. But I talk about Trooper. If you do a Tropin review, only review the desert version because it comes with a ton of weapons. Got it. I'm not really into Doms, but maybe I can give some of them a try to see how far they've come with the Dom. I mean, they've done 10 movies with him, so they would have come a long way. Wait, are they just blue cosmos but hypocrites? No, but I'm just making a joke, Yovi. Team Lacus isn't part of any affiliated group. Oh wait, that's the hinge? Because in the original Hiker, you have to extend them before you can fold them back. Unless this is because the joints are opened and I haven't completed the kit yet. Oh, next page. Alright, I'm reading a manga now. I haven't built a kit in like 6 months, lol. Mate, you gotta get back to it. If you have the time, just get back up. Just get back on that horse. You're talking about mecha DOMs, right? Right? Oh my god, imagine if they actually introduced mechanical Dominic Toretto in Fast and Furious. I mean, who needs to abide by the laws of physics if you have family? Oh wow, you made some progress. Yeah, I made some good progress. Some bad progress as well, given how I messed up one of the light vents right here. But I think some plastic cement or some paints will do to fix that issue. In fact, I'm just gonna find something similar at my disposal and just paste over that. Just because I can't be asked to reproduce that exact paint mix. I'm probably gonna scribe it with the knife or like try and trace the detail back out with the Gundam marker. But it's an easy fix either way. It's just that this kit really relies on aligning things properly and slotting them in. I feel like that's like the name of this game. Being able to align and slot things into the proper positions. So, whoever builds this kit, they will need to pay a lot of attention. Like, I'm very accident prone in my building. So, any engineering flaws will come to the surface. And by the way, 2S, in case you haven't been here, we discovered a secret mechanic in the side skirts of the Legend Gundam. Because, look at this. Yeah. This is supposed to be one piece, but you can separate them and make the Dragoon movable. They're supposed to be static. Yeah, oh no indeed, but anything we break on this thing is an easy fix. So it's not so bad that I need a complete duplicate to replace the parts, so it's fine, it's fine. Plus, it's relatively out of sight anyway, so I just paint over it and call it a day. Evil Mechadom hates family. Yep, evil Mechadom. I've heard about that, yeah, hidden joint. The One Piece. Oh, come on, mates. You guys are like those people who say FNAF when they hear pizza. Turns out I'm the one who's living under the rock. That One Piece. Oh, come on, mates. Gonna build my Xerius while I'm flying to London soon. Hopefully they have some. Where are you flying from? Last time I bought multiple kits, I lost the entire... Oh, that's sad. I'm so sorry. Okay, here's another one that I won't want to mess up. Let's just cut all of them out first and see what's what. See, that's part of the benefits of not watching reviews. At least not watching any informative reviews of kits. You get to discover them by yourself. And granted, I have seen some Japanese reviews because I was a little bit dubious about the color accuracy of this thing. But I don't think even the Japanese people have, at least the mainstream Japanese reviewers, I don't think they've talked about the secret mechanics of this kit. The only secret mechanic that I know of is for the larger Dragoons, where you can separate the beam emitters and have them move individually. Like I said, I'll show you guys what I mean in a minute. So okay, so here, so I just slot them in, slide them down. Oh, slide them down, put the cover on, and then rotate them back into position. Okay, so they should be in the forward position for now. The what? Oh, come on. Humanity has managed to reinvent diesel fuel, and the stream is still going. Yeah, the One Piece is real. I'm flying from Ireland. Oh, jolly mate. I know I'm not good at doing an Irish accent, but hopefully you have a good time in London. I can talk pirate just fine. We're talking without the pirate imitation. It's not working out for me. I'm sorry if that's disrespectful. I'm just doing it as a joke, okay? I can do Scottish just fine though. I'm practicing that more than an Irish accent. Can't do it good, but I do it relatively fine. I feel more comfortable with it. No, it's only Tuesday and I can't have burger. What of a scrumpy? That was Scottish. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, mate. If I talk in a pirate accent, I got close, but I can do Scottish just fine. Has the Paysan de Wage a kit? What do you mean? The One Piece community has been brain rotted. All of us are dead next week. Had to join the Navy. Yeah. You're the guy. You're the type of people who sees 67 on the road and just shouts 67 while doing the hand motion. In fact, I'm gonna shoot all of you for doing that. Like, you know what's funny? Like because number memes are so common, and half of my job is to shout numbers into a headset. Whenever we get to those meme numbers, and we have to call them out as a check digit before we pick up product, we have so many people. Like, I mean, they don't really do it on the job, but whenever we got out to chat or something, or whenever we're on other roles where we do team roles, whenever we bring up those stupid numbers, they always default go to 6-7. And literally, I was about to take my scanner gun and shoot them in the head for that. Like, how brain rotted do we have to be? Okay, so they're in the backwards position. Okay. Never mind. I mean, the joints work both ways, so... Wait a sec. Yeah, I'll redo it. Now I don't remember where this thing bends. Crap. Wait, does this joint bend both ways? Or did I permanently mess it up? Okay, doesn't matter. I can take it apart. Okay, so... apparently these are all facing backwards for some odd reason. Before the joint cuffs over them. Nah, no biggie. We need an RX-67. Mercy Lord MJ. And yeah, I'm gonna kill people. That 6-7 almost killed me at the gym doing reps. How many reps are you doing? 6-7, 6-7, I apologize. No, Disa, you get your payback because I did a horrible accent. Nobody else gets a free pass for doing 6-7 on this chat. Especially because I owe you guys no payback. Either way, when I get to London, hopefully the Gundam pop-up shop will still be there. If you're arriving any time before March, then you'll be able to go to the London pop-up shop. Because they're not going away until March. So, cuff, cuff, cuff. And then slide them back into position. Right, so that's the housing unit done. And all that's left is the Dragoons and weapons. Really nice. So that's the big shell. You don't even need to extend them to fold the backpack back. And you just simply fold it up to fire the Dragoons upwards. This is a vast improvement compared to the original. And of course, yeah, you can flare it up and down. That's very nice. And for some reason, the thrusters don't come first. But I think I may be able to infer how to build them. Nah, I take it back. But I'll still need this piece anyway because of the red Dragoon internals. March is next week. Well, I don't know when are they gonna close. Are they gonna close in the beginning of March or the end of March? I don't know. There may be some information in like one of their official sites or something, but if it's any time before March, then you'll make it. It's gonna be in early March, I think. Yeah, what's the meaning behind MJ2005? Your name and birth year? No. The numbers mean nothing. I've mentioned this time and time again. The numbers absolutely mean nothing. Because, like, at the time, while I was coming up with the name, I liked Michael Jackson, I like Gundam, so those two obviously should be in the name. And then I thought, oh yeah, a pseudonym should have numbers in it, right? And then for some stupid reason, I don't remember what, 2005 just popped into my head. Like I said, I'm 24 at the moment. So, you guys can do the maths yourself for when I was born. But, yeah, the numbers in my main... the numbers in my main... I can't even English now. The numbers in my name mean nothing. That's what I was trying to say. MJ, we literally share the same age, law. I know the year. I mean, you've been around for a little bit, MP, but a lot of others don't know. And they thought that 2005 is my birth year. The back part looks like a pair of dumplings to my jank eyes. Dumplings. Have you been eating a ton of Asian stuff recently? Is that why? Ton of excess gates I need to cut out. I'm going to Japan in April. I want to buy kits when I'm there, but I don't have a cabin bag and a backpack with me. Nah, I'm just saying. Okay. Mr. Goo, maybe it would be worth investing in like a small carry-on. To at least like have the room for like 1 or 2 kits. Because for me, I bought like 7 or 8 kits while I was back in Hong Kong. But that's only because we offloaded a bunch of stuff from our house. Because a lot of the stuff we had belonged to my cousins. So we had to offload them back in Hong Kong. So we had more room. And then because we had like a large luggage case and a small carry-on case on top of having a large backpack. So we had a lot of room, and we didn't particularly bring many clothes, even though we were staying there for 2 weeks. Just because we were staying at my grandparents' house, and my grandma decided that she would take on the responsibility of washing our clothes and making sure that they're fresh every couple of days. So we didn't need to bring too many clothes just because we would get them washed anyway. And that's why we were able to have like a ton of room for whatever trinkets we decide to buy while we were there. So personally, I just decided, why not go ahead and go ham, buy a bunch of kits and go home. So that's what I did. We had to buy a 3rd carry-on case. No, wait a minute. We didn't have to buy a 3rd carry-on case. We went to Hong Kong with 2 large luggage cases and 1 carry-on, and then 2 backpacks. So we had to buy a second small carry-on because I had the room, I had the quota for it, and then we had had 2 large luggage cases, 2 small carry-ons, 2 large backpacks, and even then we were still barely able to fit everything that I bought in there with everything my dad bought. So that was a lot of stuff you can imagine. Like, especially given that I was back at home, and I had the opportunity to buy model kits at Asian prices. Why wouldn't I take the opportunity to just front load my bag with a bunch of kits that I still haven't built until today? Mail the kits back home. I mean, that's another good alternative. Get a luggage. By the way, the London Gunpla base is going to be up until the 31st of March this year, so you should get there before April. Ah. Yeah, so when they say March, they literally mean right at the end of March. Great, so I think I should have another opportunity to go there before they close. I mean, I've bought like enough trinkets from them already, so there really isn't any reason to go there. But if a friend would like to hang out in London, I wouldn't refuse. It's in Camden Town anyway, so it, like, with the underground, with the London Underground, it makes it very easy to just traverse. Like, given that there's no strikes anyway, because I don't know, for some godforsaken reason, train services are so infamous for, like, going on strike for absolutely jack crap that they can never be reliable. Like, even the most reliable form of transport cannot be relied on because the workers always go on strike for absolutely no reason, even though they can literally just work at a station and earn about 50 to 70 grand each year. Well, that's mainly for the national railways. I don't know for I don't know what's the average income for underground workers. I assume it wouldn't be as much as the national railways. So that may be why they're going on strike. But the gripe I have with UK trains is that, especially for the national railways, where you can just stand around in the station guiding people and just earn 70 grand a year. Like, what the hell are you going on strike for then? Like, you constantly cause delays, cause confusion. Ugh. And yet you still have the gall to go on strike because you think the government doesn't pay you enough already. The indignity of it. My phone's dying, I must go. Well, nice having you here, Addy Cox. Welcome in. Just finished watching your review on Moon Gundam, lol. Thanks to the review, can't wait to build mine. Hey, Gaming Mafia! Wait, you're verified. Who are you? Wait a minute, go to channel. Okay, that'll drop me in a different page. Oh my god! We literally have a big YouTuber in the chat. Welcome in, Gaming Mafia! I can probably manage to keep it not more than one. You'll have to you have to take your choice then. Alright, I'ma go, bye. Nice to have you here, Yovi. Welcome in. Yeah, nice to have you here. I am a bad streamer, okay? Japan Mail often has the office near Gundam base has everything you need to send it back home. The staff are used to it. ごめんな、このキットをポストする。カバンは位置が足りない。How's the build so far? The build is pretty good, actually. Even with the expected tedium of the Dragoons, they're still pretty simple to build. The Domtropen Desert version comes with the Sturmfoss, one Rakuten bazooka, and one MP-80 with 4 magazines. The normal Domtropen just comes with a bazooka. Well, I guess I know which one I'm going for then. Yeah, I'll have a small carry-on in my backpack, but I'll be going there for 3 weeks, so I won't have a ton of room. What? Are you staying in a hotel, or are you staying in somewhere you can actually wash your clothes? Because if you can wash your clothes, then don't bother like spending the space to put the clothes in. But yeah, here are the 6 Dragoons. Yeah, they're on a track, but it doesn't feel that obvious. Wait a minute, I don't tug it by the Okay, so I do that and do that, push the front. No, wait. Push the front and then push it down, pull it out, and fold them forwards. Do I have to push them back in? No, they just go backwards anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So just put it out. No, I push them forward to lock them into place. Nope. I'm gonna have a read with the instructions in a bit. Okay, so I push them backwards to lock them into place so that they don't fold back in, and I push them forward to unlock it and reset their positions. I wouldn't say this mechanic is gratuitous, but it's a fair mechanic. Alright, down to the 2 big Dragoons. Oh yeah, I completely forgot this guy's beam sabers as well. A bit of both. We will stay at some hotels, we will stay in an old mansion that has a washing machine. Fair enough. Okay, so we're at the part where I'm talking about. So B1, if I can grab these runners. B13, which one is it? This one. So this is the part I was talking about earlier. So if I cut... Yeah, I know it's rolled off. Hold on. So these emitters look like they have a joint in them. See? It does look like it has a joint on them. And they go in to circular slots like that. So what's the middle part for? No wait, let me actually bind it. Let me actually put the tip together. Because logic would dictate... No, I've seen... No, it's not a guess. I've seen that people have separated the 4 emitters so that they can move independently. I just want to figure out what that hole is for in the middle of it. Because if that hole is literally just detail, and it doesn't serve any practical purpose, then I shall ignore it. Oh, by the way, you're an IBO fan. Well, we're anticipating the renewed Gundam frame. What's your favorite Gundam high grade kit? I mean, is it really a question? I mean, mechanically speaking, and based on my own experiences, I would definitely say that the Gundam Zagan is my favorite high grade Gundam frame. Wait a sec. So that goes there. So that hole literally serves no purpose, because it's a hole here and it's a hole here. So what I'm able to do is to separate the 4 beam emitters from that middle piece so that they can articulate individually. I've seen people do this, by the way, so I know for a fact that this will work. But putting the parts back on will take a lot of faff. And that's the one thing that will be annoying with regards to parts like these. Although I am going to be keeping the middle piece, if possible, just to act as extra friction in there. By the way, Gaming Mafia ID, like, what's your history with Gundam? Because as far as I can tell from your channel, you're like a gaming channel, are you not? So yeah, you're a gaming channel, and judging from the looks of it, I definitely wouldn't have expected you to be like a Gundam fan. High-grade IBO Barbatos Revive. I mean, the Barbatos Adapt is basically serving that purpose. I don't think I can insert that back in. Okay, so let me readjust. these. And this is gonna be very annoying if it doesn't work correctly. There we go. Now that's the big Dragoon done. And now we have individually movable beam emitters, so that we can adjust the angle of the beam spread. Is IBO Kutan still holding up in 2026? I mean, the only experience I have with the Kutan is the Typhoeus Gundam Chimera, and that thing is still fine. That thing is still holding up fine. From painters, I've seen them keep the red Dragoon parts intact to make it easier to hold while painting, and then chop it up during the final assembly. I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. But I'm not painting this thing, except to repair that one vent section. So I'm gonna keep this second one intact, just to do the same thing I would do for the side skirts. So then we cut these pieces out, cut the red piece out, and just assemble it as it is, so that I can maybe like have it maybe record some footage of me demonstrating the modification. Because I did the same for the H1 Razor and the H2 Artemis. I just saw the real grade reference Red Dragon. Do you guys want me to review the real grade Red Dragon? Because if you do, I will. I've been tempted. Like, initially I wasn't really particularly into it, but I have been tempted. And especially the more I see of it, the more I want to do it. But then again, have you guys ever like fallen into this kind of apprehension of buying things? Like, because the whole principle of you going out of your way to buy things is like, if you can afford it, if you can live with it, then you might as well go ahead and buy it. But I'm at a point where I can definitely afford to buy like a couple more kits, backlog aside, obviously. Where I can like definitely monetarily afford to buy more kits, but I just don't go out of my way to. And because like, the feeling is like every single time I sit on a store page, and it's like, should I really be spending money on this thing? I know it isn't much, and I know I can afford to spend a little bit, but should I really be going ahead and get that? Like, do you guys know what the feeling I'm talking about? As 100% I get buyer's remorse even before buying something. Kinda, yeah. That's kind of the feeling that I was talking about. Look at this, even like, these things are big enough to be separated into rims, but I just wouldn't have expected them to do it. The color separation on this thing is insane. I watch your reviews before I buy things to know what I'll really get. Oh great, now you just sent me to a deadlock then. I got the feeling for the Massacre Shinaju Stein version car, I have the funds and I want to build it, but I kinda don't want to. That's like the feeling I get multiple times, and even though in the end of the month I would realize that, even with all my spending, it still wasn't that much. It was like, I don't know, a quarter of my wage. Even given that I need to refuel my car, or like attend to some other matters. Like, even though like I had to buy 2 tires in the span of a month. No, I had to buy 3 tires in the span of a month. I still I was still like making a profit from a wage. But I really don't want to let that false sense of security lull me into spending recklessly, because that's the last thing I want to do. The last thing I want to do is to cripple my finances, because I have like actual life things I want to save for, and also just to future proof. Look at this. These thrusters. They look so good. Where was this technology in Seed Freedom? Anyways, time for the weapons and then the effect parts, and then we can end the stream there. We've been streaming for close to 4 hours. It's been 3.5. And honestly, I'm getting kind of tired. And knowing that I have a lot of other stuff to do tomorrow, especially to finish the Gundam Nyon video and get cracking on this thing. Maybe play the piano a little bit. A lot of things I want to do. Especially with my parents, especially when I'm home alone. Maybe set up booby traps for the 2 thieves that are about to get me. I really want to preserve my energy, and I don't want to sleep in. The only moments I want to sleep in is when I have work. Because I can afford to... Because my shift starts at 2, I can afford to sleep in, of course. But I want to make the most out of every day. So this is kind of... I don't know. Getting in the way of... I don't want to say that, because I like streaming with you guys. Even though I said that I want to reevaluate whether or not I want to continue going... like streaming this frequently. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how many of you guys are in here, I like to do streams for you guys and just hang out, chat about random stuff, mess around, do whatever. But it's inevitably taxing having to stream like 4 days in a row. Hey MJ, I'm in the market for a house. Could you buy it and review it for me real quick? No. No! 2S, no! Not, like, okay, so, if you really want me to do housing content, the one thing I can do is to ask some, like, companies to take me in, so that I can do, like, a house tour. Like, I've seen plenty of that in the content that my parents watch. I thought the tab was, no, the tab is on top, so I should pop it in. Actually, let me use my tweezers for it. I should pop it into the pocket like this, and whenever it closes up, it still rattles in there. Why? Now it's far better. It doesn't rattle. So, in case you guys don't know what I'm trying to do, there's a tab in here. So what that tab is for the connection ports slot thing to slot into while in storage, so that you can keep the combining javelins while keeping the storage mechanism. This mechanism was never in the original high grade, so I'm very thankful that they've done that. Don't forget to show the fully painted house at the end. Okay then. Okay then, you're really asking me to customize a house. I mean, to be honest, like in all seriousness, I haven't used a roller brush for like a long time. And since we've kept everything vanilla in our house, I never had the opportunity to. But apparently, according to my friends who have actually bought a house, doing that painting will stink and will shorten your life expectancy by about 2 decades. It was still a fun experience, even though it was a massive faff to, like, put the, I don't know, the plastic on the floor and on the edges and stuff before you go ahead and do the painting. And kind of like, I don't know, doing like using, you know what I'm talking about? Using one of those roller brushes is kind of like an obsession of mine while I was in little. And the closest thing we've ever gotten to using those was when we did our own are carvings. You know, when we make like stamps and that kind of stuff, not postal stamps, no. So you know those chops, those stamps. We used to do them in school, in like primary school and secondary school, and the one moment where we get to use those roller brushes is when we were applying paint onto those stamps so that we can actually, you know, stamp our designs out. So that was the only instance where we were able to use those roller brush things. And that looks really good. I just finished the MGSD Freedom and Wing Zero EW. How are MGSDs, by the way? Like I said, I have one in my backlog, but I haven't built it yet. So I want to know, like, how are they? Are they like as good as everybody is saying that they are, or are they literally just SDs that build up like real grades, and that there's nothing really that special to them? Man, this kid really does justice to the legend. Looks very good. Pun intended, yeah? Realm Walker Productions. Hey, lovely build. Yep, thank you. Hi MJ, I fall asleep and lost most of the stream. Maybe the entire stream is finished, lol. Where are you? Don't lose sleep just because I'm streaming. Not unless well, you're just taking a nap wherever your time zone is, so... I'm not really that fussed about whether or not particular people come in. So long as you pop by, then I'm good. But only do it at your own discretion. I really don't want people sacrificing like either their money or their sleep for my sake. I don't want to be that kind of streamer. Or that kind of content creator, in fact. That's kind of like why I haven't set up a second crowdfunding goal yet. First of all, because I have no idea what to actually put as a crowdfunding goal. But secondly, it's because I really don't want to like seem like I'm begging for your guys' help. Because I am very well and capable of like buying things for myself. But then again, as Jury said, it's fine to ask for the community to help you from time to time. So I don't know, it's like kind of like a balance that I have to strike. And because I haven't done enough experiments with crowdfunding projects, I don't really have enough information as to where the balance is. Oh, interesting. This is the beam shield is actually hard plastic. Oh wait, the Destiny also has hard plastic beam shield. Never mind. Can't wait for the smooth panel lines in the house. You know what? Maybe doing panel lines on the house would prevent it from cracking. Maybe that's gonna be the case. Crowdfunding idea, PGU new. No thank you. Let me tell you that, like, my last crowdfunding project was for 2 real grade Exias. That went well, thanks to 4 people contributing. Somebody even contributed 50 quid to it, so, oh my god. First of all, thank you. Second of all, why? But, if I am going to be going that big for a crowdfunding project, I may as well crowdfund the high-grade Elysius. Because that thing is like 100 and something pounds. Because if I really want to go big, I might as well go for a big high grade, if you know what I mean. Is that a nub? Yep, that's a nub. What's your favorite Gundam anime? Iron-Blooded Orphans, no doubt. No, you have to scrap the paints before you paint the wall. Crowdfunding idea, SGD 1 to 3 3rd scale Tifa. You cannot buy that. Oh, come on, mates. Are we really going back into the weird territories again? I want to ask, how do you paint your gunplas in your review? Do you use paintbrush, Gundam markers, or airbrush? A combination, actually. I have all of them at my disposal, so I just figure out what would be the best approach. Usually I do airbrushing because I can control the color mixes, and with actually with airbrushing, the results will come out really well. Even for like an amateur like me who doesn't care about all the pressure gauges or like how atomized the paint, not necessarily how atomized the paint is, but how much paint I let out, like how much PSI I need, because all I have is like this crappy portable compressor. So I still consider myself like a beginner in the airbrushing market, just because I don't care about all of those stats, and because I don't really have like a proper big ass compressor underneath my desk. So if you really want to talk about like details and numbers and you talk about your androids, you're about 0.247 psi off from making the perfect finish, then I'm not the guy. But usually I would do airbrushing just because I can control the paint mixes. Because if you're doing it with aerosols, evidently not. You cannot do custom paint mixes with aerosols. But if I do smaller details, I would usually go for a brush or some sort of fine tip marker. Like there's a white fine tip marker that you can buy out there. But paintbrush, like hand painting, I can also control the paint mixes because I'll have to use brushes to mix the paint before I pour it into the airbrush. So I will do that as well. But sometimes if I'm lazy and if I know that a Gundam marker already has the mix I want, then I just go for Gundam markers if possible. There are quite a few instances where I just use Gundam markers and call it a day. So I just decide which one of those methods would be the most appropriate for the situation, if you know what I mean. Like IBO, never tell the PFP games. Actually, no. Diver Base City 1-to-1 Unicorn Gundam, really? You really want to go there? Love that, IBO is amazing. Speaking of Hathaway, are you going to do a full review on the new XC or do a short? I mean, the changes are really minimum. I mean, if I do a review on the new XC Gundam, I will do a full review. Just because Bandai has given me the perfect excuse to redux my my XC Gundam video. Because if you don't know, my XC Gundam video came out when the kits came out. So it was like back in the old format where I just sat in front of my set and just talked about the kits for like half an hour without any scripts or planning or any foresights for that matter. So in fact, Bandai releasing a new XC Gundam gave me the perfect excuse to do a redux review on it. So if the burnt shield is the only thing I need to replace between the two variants, so be it. I am gonna replace the shield on the new XC just for the sake of pointing it out, and then the rest of it is history. So thank you, Bandai. Okay, what am I doing here? So there's like a long indent and a short indent, so is there a nub trapped in there or something? Why can't I close this? MJ's doing a retcon review though. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean a retcon review? So yeah, seriously, if you guys are open to the idea of me crowdfunding the Elysius, then I might as well just set it up. Because it's gonna be about like 120 quid either way, so at least. And since I'm not gonna be buying from HLJ anymore, because their policies are rubbish, and like the one policy that really gets me is that no cancellation policy. Don't know what's going on with that. But I'm gonna be getting my Elysius from alt sources, so hopefully it wouldn't have the same fate as this package, where it would get stuck in China for about 10 decades. Also known as a century. This is a weird sticker. Wait a second, so I'm doing this wrong. So the larger indent goes here. It would be so much easier just to do this with paint, if I'm honest. But for the sake of the review, I'm going to be using the stickers. Just to demonstrate to you guys what it's like. What they look like. And I mean, they even made a teeny tiny one for this teeny tiny nubbin. Like, what's stopping you from making a separate piece that just cuffs over this? Like, I mean, I can understand why these trims are stickers, because you would have to go to real grade territory to be able to separate that on a high grade. But what's stopping you from making like a separate piece with a separate nubbin and just cuffing it over the barrel? Like, I mean, this kit is good. This kit is good so far. The impressions are like exceptional. But when it comes to the rifle, why would you do that? Like, why? Especially on the back. Like, this piece could easily be a separate piece. And yet, Bandai opted for stickers. I'm starting to lose my mind here, but I think I might have a point. The fact that we even get the rifle this color separation is insane. We now know where all the color separation in the Sea Freedom kits go. Yeah, it's all gone to the body. Meanwhile, the rifle can kick rocks. I mean, the stickers don't look that bad. But it's still far easier to just get a white pen and just paint it over. And I mean, because you can just have the shell of the rifle anyway, you can have just the shell, sandwich it together, and just paint it before you build it properly. Alright, see you later, I'm gonna go eat. Nice to have you here, Retrograde. Oh man, I think this kit doesn't have the color separation sticker. Yes, it's a C kit after all. Well, the base body doesn't need any color separation as far as I can tell. Like color correcting stickers. I forgot, like, somebody pointed out where, like, some missing paint apps are on the body. I'll have to take a look in a bit. But this rifle, mate, with today's technology, you could easily have the stock and the barrel separated into plastic pieces. I wouldn't say this is unacceptable. I'm just gonna be making a mountain out of a molehill at that point. But honestly, why? Why not put an extra 20p into the engineering just to separate two pieces of plastic? Instead of, I don't know, having dodgy trim stickers that, granted, they do look fine, but only just fine. But I'm gonna also put together these beam effects and call it a day. It's a deal. I'm gonna be waiting for that review. I don't care if it came out in 2027. Oh man, I think this kit doesn't have color correction sticker. Yep. How dare you question John Bandai? Mate, I've already ruined my chances for working with them because I built like third-party kits. What the hell else could you want from me? Like, if... No, I'm joking there, but seriously. If there's a flaw, I might as well point it out. I glad I found your channel while you were alive. I recently got into gunpla, built 2 high grade so far, and have my first massacre waiting to be assembled. Realm Walker, what were your first kits? Just to see where you started off from. At this point, I would paint that white part on the gun. I guess the only letdown of the kit, I guess. Yeah. Though, like I said, I put on the stickers for demo purposes. Because, like, there's one thing that grinds my gears with a lot of reviews, is that they don't show what the stickers look like. Some of them either don't put stickers on their kits, period, for some odd reason. Or some of them just say, oh, they're gonna look bad, I'm not gonna put them on, I can't be asked. So, but to me, parts of a review is to review all the contents that are included in the kit, including the stickers. If they're god awful, so be it. You can just take them off and paint them on by yourself. So sometimes it just really annoys me that some reviews don't demonstrate how good or bad the stickers are. Do you guys feel the same? Okay, so let me take these off and then angle the beams onto those beam emitters. And since they have C-clips, some very soft ones at that, you can easily adjust the angle of the beam, which is very nice. So, that's not what I want. So that basically wraps it up for the Legend Gundam build. Like I said, I'm gonna fix up that one thing that I messed up down there. Where's my panel lining marker? Oh well, if I can find that. Oh, there it is. There we go. Second level. I don't even need to hit the garage for that one. Now I've hit my mistake. Well, maybe I'm crazy here, but Providence and Legend shoot green beams, not pink, right? No, it's like the thing for Seed. They shoot green beams, but they generate pink blades. Don't ask why. It just is, okay? They shoot green beams, but they generate pink blades. If you don't know, this is the melee mode of the large Dragoons. So it can generate beam blades to actually puncture armor, just in case you want to use it as a fang. Just in case you want to go IKEA Fange! Now I have Master Grade RX-782 3.0 and also High Grade Lefrith on standby. Melee. Wait, what? Wait, you didn't know that this is melee mode? Wait a sec. Before I end the stream, I'll have to give you guys a screenshot and actually quote the blurb. This is melee mode. Okay, where is it? The Dragoon system. Okay. Multiple assault cannon. Total 8. Oh, there's the mobile assault. 2 large attack terminals are mounted on the platform on the back and incorporates multiple beam cannons, 4 of which can also generate beam spikes. You can read it for yourself. And did I hear Ali Alsaces? Yeah. IKEA Fange! Okay, let me actually look for that. Because apparently you guys don't know that these Dragoons have melee mode. Okay, let me zoom in on OBS. I don't want the controls to be that passive. Here it is. See? In the anime, they also generate pink beam blades. So, there you go, I suppose. Only the big Dragoons can be spiked. I don't suppose any of the Dragoons can be spiked. If you know what I mean. Ryukenji Fujiwara. The spike that killed the blue Cosmos leader. Yep. I actually thought it was a beam effect for shooting out, not for melee. I didn't remember it doing it in the anime. I might be wrong. Yep, like I demonstrated, they actually do that in the anime. And I'm supposed to be a Legend fan. Hey, shame on you, Ren. Shame on you. But yeah, that is gonna wrap it up for this stream. Took me about 3 hours and 50 minutes because I started the build at like 9 minutes in. So, this build, very interesting. Messed up that one vent, luckily I covered it up. Discovered some hidden gimmicks, which I'm gonna be clipping, by the way. Clipping and making it into a short at some point in my in my time. And we ranted about the rifle, we ranted about a lot of stuff, including Beyblades and whatnot. A lot of things been talked about, especially the impressive part separation of this kit. So I'm gonna get cracking on the Nyan, and in fact I got to fix up the Nyan and put it back together before I go to bed. And hopefully you guys look forward to this review. Yeah, oh my god, I'm so impressed. Yeah. And this is one of the more successful streams of recent memory, so I'm glad you guys have popped in from time to time, even though I'm not particularly good of a streamer. Now, Banner, provide me, provide providence in my eyes, yours. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this stream. So thank you all so much for popping in, and you guys can feel free to join the Discord in the links in the description. And also, if you want to tip, my sponsor is in the description as well. But tip responsibly. Don't like go into debt just for me. Like I said, I don't want you guys like sacrificing yourself too much for me. But anyways, that's it for the stream, and I'll see you all next time. I'll do an announcement if I do any more streams this week. Good night.